Greece and was under a Russian flag and escort. CBS's James Laporta.
CBS News first reported that U.S. forces were planning to take the ship, and then cut to today, and it's been a very busy day for the U.S. military. Not only have they seized the Bella 1 in U.S. European Command, another ship, the Sophia, was seized in U.S. Southern Command. The Kremlin has responded. They've said no state has the right to use force against vessels that are flagged under their state.
The administration says Venezuela has cooperated in the Caribbean seizure, and the U.S. will selectively remove sanctions to enable the shipping and sale of the country's oil to global economies. As Democrats criticize the U.S. weekend attack in Venezuela that landed President Maduro in custody, House Speaker Mike Johnson pushes back.
The War Powers Act has been cited by Democrats. It only requires notification to Congress within 48 hours of the initiation of hostilities. It does not require prior approval, and they properly notified Congress.
Military action is said to be among the possibilities under consideration as the Trump administration considers a takeover of Greenland. The foreign ministers of Denmark and Greenland have demanded a meeting with Secretary of State Rubio.
I'll be meeting with them next week. We'll have those conversations with them then, but I'm not having anything further to add to that.
On the Health Watch today, CBS's Stacey Lynn tells us
the White House has announced new dietary guidelines for Americans that it says are science-driven. They prioritize high-quality protein, healthy fats, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains while avoiding processed foods and refined carbohydrates.
And there's new information on a rough flu season.
45 states are reporting high or very high flu activity, and the CDC says doctors' visits for the flu have hit their highest level in nearly 3 decades. Atlanta pediatrician Jennifer Shue warns parents to watch out for symptoms.
They might have a hard time breathing, so lips could turn blue. They could be panting, heaving.
9 children are among the 5,000 who have died so far this season. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
Warner Brothers is again rejecting a takeover bid from Paramount, the parent of CBS News, telling shareholders to stick with a rival offer from Netflix. That's a $72 billion deal for its streaming and studio business. Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 74 points, the S&P and NASDAQ trading higher. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
No skiing at one resort. The power is out. Details coming up. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Seattle, the Lower Spokane Bridge is closed to traffic. That's due to a mechanical issue with a gate. They're working to fix that. Travel times not bad. Everett to Seattle 32 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle 49. Renton to Bellevue 39. Still waiting for the lake bridges to clear out. Snoqualmie Pass, snow and slush and ice on the roadway. Traction tires advised. Stevens Pass, compact snow and ice. Chains for everyone except all-wheel drive. White Pass, snow and ice. Traction tires required and truckers chain up. Traffic brought to you by Northwest Hope and Healing. For cork, fork, and support, an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration. Tickets at nwhopeandhealing.org.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. It is not what powder hounds want to hear. Even though a winter storm is expected to dump up to 4 feet of snow by tomorrow afternoon, there will be no skiing or snowboarding today at Stevens Pass. The resort says the power's out and not expected to be restored until about 6 tonight. They do plan to give an update later this afternoon. The winter storm is making it a tough go for drivers in the mountain passes. KIRO 7 TV's Allison Amoy checked out Snoqualmie Pass.
Signs for change required had many pulling over, including a long line of semi-trucks.
Kind of a pain in the really. I've been here a half hour now trying to do this, and it's just not cooperating.
WashDOT says it's ready to swarm the storm.
Effectively getting the snow off the roadway.
By plowing and de-icing.
Eastbound I-90 had to close for about 2 hours yesterday from North Bend to the Summit because of multiple crashes. Kitsap County deputies say a driver led them on a chase with speeds up to 100 miles an hour before he lost control of the car while making a turn and slammed into the front of a smoke shop in Poulsbo. He was arrested for DUI. Seattle police are investigating after 2 people were stabbed during a robbery at Freeway Park in the downtown area. Both were taken to a hospital. The extent of their injuries has not been released. The search is on for burglars who hit the Meeples Game Store in West Seattle. More from KIRO's 7 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
Feel very violated.
Laura Schneider, who co-owns the store with her son Garrett, says she got a call from her security company as alarms went off.
I was watching it in real time.
Seconds later, he's stuffing merchandise into a big bag.
They're after Magic the Gathering and Pokemon cards.
Owners say the thieves either ruined or stole around $3,000 of merchandise, and they were long gone before police arrived.
The Seattle City Council has elected a new president.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Council President Joy Hollingsworth.
District 3 Councilmember Joy Hollingsworth was nominated by Councilmember Dan Strauss and elected by a unanimous vote. Hollingsworth is a fourth-generation Seattleite and will serve as president for 2026-27. KIRO News Radio weather. Rain today with highs in the low 40s. It's 41 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday and Happy New Year. This is the Gee and Ursula Show. We're grateful that you're hanging out with us today. Ursula will not be in today. It's me. That's right. It's your boy. Don't worry. I got Chef here and I got Nick here. We're going to have a good time. Don't you all worry about it. Hey, we got a lot to talk about today. I mean, a lot. And I know one of the biggest stories here locally, it is what is happening over at the University of Washington, and their star quarterback, Damon Williams, has jumped into the transfer portal. But he signed some papers 4 days prior. So not only do I really want to have this discussion, I have decided who better to talk about this with than my own son. That's right. G. Scott Jr. is going to join us next to talk about the state of college football. What do you think? Are you more impressed with college football today, or is it almost dead to you like some others think? G. Scott Jr. joins us at 9:30. All right, 888-973-5476 is the text line. You can also watch us on YouTube or jump on our G and Ursula Facebook page and join the magic right there. Let's get to it. Top stories of the day brought to you by Pendergast Law.
All right, let's start off with former Governor Inslee's signature piece of legislation, the Climate Commitment Act, which was supposed to dramatically reduce carbon emissions in our state. But Luke Ducey, the data on that is not so clear.
Yeah, that's an understatement as well. In a recent report, here's the deal. The Department of Ecology overstated their emission reductions made through dozens of programs under the state's Climate Commitment Act across the state over the last 2 years by more than, ready, 9,000%. They overshot by 9,000%. Here's what Todd Myers with the Washington Policy Center, a think tank and watchdog group, said here to KIRO News Radio yesterday about all this. Listen to this.
They screwed up the numbers. They made a gigantic math error, and they repeated that math error in their press release and their public statements. And they're telling legislators, look what a good job we're doing. Look how effective these projects are, when it was a math error.
So let me dive in just a little bit more here. So it turns out the Department of Commerce is now apologizing for that math error. They call it a human error. Yeah. So the state is saying, G, that they reduced CO2 emissions by nearly 7.5 million metric tons. I don't know how much that is, but for everyone driving right now, it is like this. It's about, take a look around. It's like getting rid of the exhaust from more than a third of all the cars and trucks you see on the road beside you right now for an entire year. That's how much 7.5 million metric tons is. But then they said, whoopsie, my bad. And then they came out and said, actually, we reduced CO2 emissions by only 78,000 metric tons, not 7.5 million.
Okay, Luke, I've heard you talking about this, and I always love it when you come in to really get down to it. And one of the things, there's two things that stand out to me about what has been said so far. There's one thing that you said, and there's one thing that I read. What you said was egg on the face, and what I read was human error. So when the officials say human error, who exactly made this mistake when they say human? Because they just put human error. Where am I supposed to go with that, Luke?
It's a good question. So we've still got these questions that we're going to be asking when we get the answers. Mm-hmm. You know, what it looks like what happened at the Department of Commerce anyway, and they say they're fixing these mechanisms, data entry. You know, companies and others have to put in numbers somewhere, and they have to collect them, and they have to analyze them. And, you know, I think in that process somewhere, it's obvious that if you start plugging in wrong numbers someplace, then you get an output.
Yeah, but 9,000%, that's not like, oops, I missed a decimal point.
Right, and that's another big question. And, you know, Myers made that same point that, you know, he asked around, he said, and he asked some officials in Ellensburg, hey, does this look accurate to you? And they said, no, those numbers don't look right. They called Department of Commerce. Commerce said, according to Myers, they said, no, those are not right. We know they're not right, but, and then they published them anyway is the charge there. Sure. We're going to have to figure out if that happened or not.
Luke, before we let you go, one of the things I always like to ask you when I'm heading to my desk, we want to know, what questions do you have now? Now that you've seen this, you've seen the report, when you want to follow up on this, we the people want to know, what are the questions that Luke Ducey is going to have? What more do you have?
Here's the deal on this. You know, supporters of the CCA are going to say, you know, this is a great program to reduce gas emissions, reverse global climate change. It takes time and money, though, to recover from all the damage that's been done and to meet their goals, which is like a 95% reduction in gas emissions by 2050. Not every program is going to work. We got, it takes time and it takes money. One of the most successful programs has been to help mostly lower income folks replace their gas stoves with heat pumps across the state. So critics, though, have been saying, the CCA is just a hidden tax on energy. It's led to gas prices going up to some 50 cents per gallon because of their cap and invest mechanism, which, if you don't know, it requires businesses every quarter to buy allowances for the emissions that they're responsible for. It's really an incentive to try to get them to reduce their carbon footprint. But again, a more recent example, and then I'll get to my questions because I think this is all in context here. In the new year, PSE, Puget Sound Energy customers, are going to pay 12% more for electricity and 7% more for natural gas. Oh, wow. Because PSE asked the Utilities and Transportation Commission and got permission to recover additional costs involved with the Climate Commitment Act. So what would I ask?
What would you ask?
I would ask, I need more context in all this. To Chef's point, a 9,000% overshot. And you published it. They're talking there, and they're selling this to state legislators and everyone else, saying, "Look what a great job we're doing. Let's keep this program going. Let's get more funding, perhaps." It's a funding point, right? So, how did that happen? Who was in the room? Was what I'd love to know, and what were the discussions like? I don't think they'll ever share anything like that, but you want to know, why was that information put out when obviously anyone, including this watchdog group, looked at it once and said, "Whoa, that doesn't make any sense."
Right.
That's what I would want to know.
Luke Ducey.
Who's running things?
Luke Ducey, we're always grateful for you. Thank you, my man.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good one.
Gee, I got a question, buddy. Is it time to get rid of the Climate Commitment Act? Do you think we're getting what we're paying for it?
Hell no. Get rid of it. We ain't getting what we paid for. As a matter of fact, the numbers, every single time you open up a bill, every time you sit down with Lois and Jane or whoever it is that you do bills with, everything is increasing right now, and you have no reason why. Your cell phone bill goes up, PSC goes up, groceries goes up, everything's going up. And then they have the audacity to overshoot by 9,000%? No. You're not. What you're not going to do is just play. Like I said, I read the entire thing, and the only thing that stands out to me is human error. No. Because when you say human error, you're basically trying to escape accountability. Who is the damn human? And who are the human or humans that were in the room? So, again, thank you, Luke Ducey, for that report. I'm trying not to get rid of all that stuff right there and give us our money back. What's next?
Okay, just one real quick thing. I'm not driving less. The whole point of this was that we would reduce our energy consumption, our gas, right? That's not happening. The whole idea that you can buy allowances for carbon is like the indulgences during the Crusades, where you could prepay the Catholic Church for your sins and then go murder people. It is ridiculous that we were paying so much.
All right, what's the next topic?
All right, let's move on. So let's head down to Lakewood, where Police Chief Patrick Smith reports 0 murders for 2025. That's the first time it's happened in more than 20 years. But Chief Smith tells King 5 News that is not the only good piece of news.
Burglaries down 42%, larceny 18%. Motor vehicle theft is down 53%. Robberies are down 42%. Our overall crime is down 28%.
Great news, G.
Yeah, this is great news. As a matter of fact, yesterday, my buddy Cornelius, who has come up he came up in Stillicum, but still close to Lakewood, he hit me up with that stat, and he was like, man, there were 0 murders and or homicides in 2025 in Lakewood. And when he sent me that message, I didn't believe him. Sorry, Corn. I just didn't. So I went to go look it up myself, and boom, right in front of me, I see the article on there. And hey, shout out to Chief Smith. Shout out to, I can sit here and say shout out to law enforcement, but law enforcement isn't the reason. Well, isn't always all the reason. You guys have done a great job. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take anything away from you, Lakewood officers. You have done great. But at the same time, just remember this. If there is an increase in crime, we can't blame officers all the time, right? Because officers respond. So I think this is a collective effort. The chief, the police officers of Lakewood, the citizens of Lakewood, and everybody involved, any type of neighborhood watch groups and community efforts. So I want to give a huge shout out to everyone in Lakewood. Now, if you guys remember, in May, it got a little dicey, if you guys remember that, at Harry Todd Park, when that whole thing shook the community, when 7 people were injured because of some shootings happening. Thankfully, no one died during that time. So, hey, let's keep it up, Lakewood. Maybe other cities can join in and get in that collective effort. And, hey, loving to hear about crime decreasing.
What do you think actually reduces crime? Because the median home price in Lakewood 10 years ago was like $265,000. Today it's over $500,000.
Well, I can't really. I mean, you guys know where I'm going with this whole thing. I always say that crime follows poverty. I mean, that's period. That's where it goes. Specifically, as into Lakewood, I don't know exactly. I can only go off the numbers, but I do think one driving factor that happens is technology. Because down in Lakewood, I did read they do have some drones out there that help officers respond faster to certain situations. So again, shout out to Lakewood.
All right, let's move on to the University of Washington, where their quarterback, Damon Williams Jr., he's the guy that Jed Fish, the coach, openly called the future of the program, is not going to be with the university anymore. He signed an agreement with UW just days ago, but now he is leaving. UW says they plan to pursue, quote, legal action against him. What do you make of this, G?
Yeah, so at 9:30, I am going to bring on my son, G. Scott Jr., and we're going to be having a discussion about college football. And I just want you all to know, this isn't planned. This isn't prepared. I don't know what he's going to say. He doesn't know what I'm going to say. That'll happen at 9:30. As for college football, in my opinion, is dead. I feel sorry for the alumni. I feel sorry for everyone that's associated, not necessarily just UW, but any other university, because, again, let me speak for myself. College football, for me, I used to love it. As a matter of fact, growing up in Chicago, right, my father loved Notre Dame. That was his thing. And it wasn't the University of Illinois. He loved Notre Dame football. And what I fell in love with, and I don't know about you, I don't know how you fell in love with college football or if you love college football, but maybe you have a loved one that loved college football. What they fell in love with, and it doesn't matter if you played or didn't play, you didn't fall in love with the money. You fell in love with the pride. You fell in love with the loyalty, that feeling, right? So when my son, and when they were younger, right, when I played college basketball, but when my son was younger, I wanted him to hopefully get an opportunity to get a college scholarship. And the goal with the college scholarship, it wasn't NFL. The average NFL career lasts 2.5 years. Write that down. 2.5 years is how long an NFL career lasts. However, a college education, a college being connected to a university and an alumni base, that lasts forever. That was the goal that I had. So now when I see Damon Williams, who 4 days prior signed and recommitted, and I saw the excitement on social media and how everybody was so excited that he's recommitting. But the one thing that stood out to me in that whole thing, college football used to be about recruiting the high school kid, and then he's going to come there and he's going to be there and play for 4 years. Now you're recruiting the kid, and you're having to recruit the kid and family year after year. So Damon Williams signs a $4 million contract, allegedly, 4 days ago, and then 4 days later, he jumps into the portal. Then it's being said that he's probably looking at about a $6 million deal down there in LSU, $6 million a year. And here's what's interesting about that. Here's the part that really rubs me the wrong way. LSU, their new head coach, Lane Kiffin, was at a basketball game yesterday,
Kim Mulkey, right?
with the quarterback, Sam Leavitt. At a basketball game. Sam Leavitt is the current quarterback down there for LSU. Now imagine that news breaks and you say what? So again, the loyalty and all of that, I just wish, this is what I wish, and I get it. I mean, who am I to speak? I mean, I can't tell a family and someone else, if you have an opportunity to go make $5-6 million a year to go do it. I'm not getting into that. That's not my point. My point is this. Gone are the days where and we're talking about college football, where a young man gets to leave high school, choose a university, go to that university, stay at that university, go through the ups and downs. Maybe you don't play. Maybe you do play. But all things that you get to learn about life. Sometimes life ain't fair. Sometimes you go through ups and you go through downs. But you go through it at that university. Again, I'm speaking from my side of things. And I know that everybody's story isn't the same. I'm just extremely grateful that The Ohio State recruits my son. He goes to that school. He goes through his ups and downs. He wins a national championship. He has an opportunity to play a little bit of pro football, goes to the New England Patriots, gets released there. Then he gets signed by the Washington Commanders at the end of the season. But my point, the goal was never about richness and money. It was about the connection to the network of that base. And a lot of kids will go and choose universities. Excuse me, they're not choosing universities. They're choosing the money. And man, I just don't know, because if you don't make it to the NFL, now what?
Do fans stop watching?
Oh, I think so. I think little by little. And one last thing, I talked to a couple donors last night.
Okay.
From Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these donors are done.
Really?
Well, the reason why you become, again, I've never been a donor, but I'm just speaking for them.
Yeah.
The reason why they became a donor is because of pride in that school.
Yep.
They love their school so much. I am donating, and this kid comes to my school, he getting a lot of money, and then decides, oh, I need more money.
Yeah, who are you rooting for?
So one thing I know about rich people, they believe in 3 letters. ROI. Return on investment. And if I'm not getting it, or if they're not getting a return on their investment, then why are they donating in the first place? So, all right. Let's have more of this conversation. Go fill up on your coffee or whatever, because G. Scott Jr. is going to join us. And I'm telling you, I know it's my son, but if you have kids, sometimes you don't know what your kid's going to say. So we'll find out, and we'll talk about the state of college football next. Gee Ursula Show.
And so we are set.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle.
Seattle is going to win this football game. A single-season franchise record of 14 wins. The fourth number one seed in franchise history.
Reaction.
Just incredibly proud of them.
Conversation.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle.
Complete coverage at mynorthwest.com. And the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO News Radio app.
For seniors, the new year is a good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Boy, am I glad to be done with my holiday shopping.
Oh, I know.
And now I just want to relax.
Me too. Well, except there's one more store we should check out.
Oh, no way.
Because this week, we can get a Samsung, LG, or Sony TV at an incredible price.
Really? Where?
At Video Only's year-end clearance sale. They're really cutting deals.
Because the holidays are over?
Yep. So this is our chance to get what we wanted for Christmas.
Are the prices really that good?
Yes. For 7 days they are. And Video Only has those top-rated models we were thinking about all on sale.
All right. The best stuff cheap is worth a trip.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
D.R. Horton's National Red Tag Sales Event is going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Progressive knows life takes you in many directions.
Bear right at exit 32, then begin to wonder why you never bought a fish tank. In 1.3 miles, you'll realize you've been mispronouncing epitome your whole life. At the roundabout, you will remember you said something at dinner you wish you hadn't, and will think about it for decades. You have arrived at your destination, but it turns out there really is no destination, and life just keeps going.
Wherever life takes you, protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
I love the fact that Mike Novak sells more homes than anybody else. This guy works so hard. You know what's happening? People are selling their homes again. And if you don't have Mike Novak's name on that sign, well, you're wasting your time and your house is just going to be sitting on the market. Mike is so confident that he can sell your house quickly. And for more, you'll pay no commission if Mike Novak doesn't sell that home in 21 days. So go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell Novaks for you. Novaks. Meetthenovaks.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The state makes a 7.5 million ton mistake about the Climate Commitment Act. The Washington State Commerce Department originally said that a CCA-funded program to convert homes from fossil fuels to electric power would reduce 7.5 million metric tons of greenhouse gases. Only it won't. It'll only reduce 78,000 tons of emissions.
And they're telling legislators, look what a good job we're doing. Look how effective these projects are, when it was a math error.
That's Todd Myers with the Washington Policy Center on the Jake and Spike Show. The Commerce Department has issued a correction. A judge rejects Amazon's bid to dismiss a lawsuit that claims you were overcharged during the pandemic.
A Seattle-based law firm launched the consumer protection lawsuit claiming Amazon jacked up prices for key products during pandemic shortages. Reuters looked at the complaint, which said prices for Aleve pain tablets went up 233%, while prices for some toilet paper shot up more than 1,000%. Plaintiffs want refunds for consumers who paid unfair prices. Lawyers for Amazon asked to dismiss the case and claimed Washington's laws on pricing were vague. But a judge said that argument was unpersuasive. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Alaska Airlines announces its largest fleet order ever, and they're buying Boeing. 105 of the 737-10 MAX planes made in Everett and 5 of the 787 wide-bodies. Alaska is including an option for 35 additional MAX planes over the next 10 years. Seattle-based Alaska has been expanding its global footprint with more flights to Europe and Asia, and it bought Hawaiian Airlines in 2024. There are new signs President Trump is serious about trying to take over the Danish territory of Greenland. The White House says he's considering options, including military force. Denmark and Greenland are seeking a meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who told reporters today,
I'm not here to talk about Denmark or military intervention. I'll be meeting with them next week. We'll have those conversations with them then.
The leaders of several European countries reaffirmed that Greenland belongs to its people. The U.S. has seized 2 oil tankers linked to Venezuela, one in the North Atlantic and the other in the Caribbean Sea. At the same time, the U.S. is selectively removing sanctions to allow Venezuelan oil to be sold. The Trump administration says the money will go to the Venezuelan people and to the U.S. We are getting word of a Minneapolis shooting involving federal law enforcement. We are monitoring that and will bring you details as we get them. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 100 points, NASDAQ up 159. KIRO News Radio traffic in Seattle. Hooray, the lower Spokane Bridge is reopened to traffic after repairs to a gate. Travel times overall not bad. Everett to Seattle 25 minutes, Federal Way to Seattle 37, Renton to Bellevue 23. Still waiting for those lake bridges to clear out completely. Snoqualmie Pass, snow and slush and ice on the roadway right now. Traction tires advised there. Stevens Pass, compact snow and ice, chains for everyone except all-wheel drive. White Pass, snow and ice, traction tires required, and truckers chain up. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by KIRO Radio. Rain today with highs in the low 40s. It's 40 right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
What's up, everybody? It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Wednesday. And right now in the city of Seattle, the state of Washington, Husky Nation, there is a huge conversation going on about what is going on with their star quarterback. 4 days ago, he signs and re-signs for that good old $4 million a year, allegedly, as far as how much he's going to play for. And then all of a sudden, he jumps into the transfer portal, shocking everyone. And there are reports. They're saying that he's heading down to LSU, maybe for more money. But at the same time, you know what? The University of Washington are saying, no, not so fast. We might have something to say about that. Might have to take this up in court. So my question is what is the state of college football? So I've given my opinion earlier, but I might as well bring on someone who is essentially an expert at this topic, considering he played his college football here recently. Happens to be my son, Gee Scott Jr. What's going on, son?
What up? What up? Thank you for having me on.
All right.
I didn't hear that story. That's crazy.
It's crazy, right? Okay, well, first of all, what is your take on that? He signs, now check this out. Because, in college football now, you have to basically re-recruit every single year. So he signs 4 days ago at the $4 million. 4 days later, boom, he jumps into the transfer portal. And folks are saying that he's heading down to LSU, new coach, Lane Kiffin, maybe for about $6 million a year. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd take like a more of a universal take on it than necessarily speaking on his specific situation. But in my opinion, I think it's taking college football out of college football. And at some point, it's just turning into minor leagues, the same way baseball is getting done. It's taking that healthy pride that you're supposed to have in the program that you went to. And we were talking about this the other day. I think even for myself, I think my coming out in 2024 was the last group of guys that I think there's going to be that sense of college pride that college football has always been known for. And I think it's becoming semi-pro. But I think another thing is I think it's unfortunate the amount of, I think the poor lessons that it's teaching these young athletes with just how to handle adversity when you're introduced to a program or just later in life, whether you're working or whatever it is. I think there's a lot of poor lessons. In my personal opinion, I do think it does a little bit more harm than it does do good. One more thing on that, just to speak out of both sides of my mouth a little bit, I do believe that there is a time and a place where the transfer portal is necessary and it has benefited people very well. But I don't think it's something that I think NCAA should make any differences. I just think we need to change the narrative a little bit on how we approach the transfer portal and how we're teaching these young athletes to go about their business. Well, let's stay on the transfer portal conversation. In your view and what you have seen, how much, and by the way, what you have seen, you've seen a lot. How much of the transfer portal is about opportunity and how much is it about fear of getting left behind? Right. Yeah, I think you're talking about fear of getting left behind at the program that you're currently at. Right. Yeah. No, I think that's a huge part of it. I think it's a little bit of both depending on the situation or who you're talking about. But I think a lot of the situations is fear of myself not being able to make it. Oh my gosh, the moment I feel adversity, I'm looking for a way out or a different program to go to. And like I mentioned earlier, I just think these are very negative lessons that are being taught to 18, 19, and 20-year-olds on how to navigate life. I think it's a formula to put people in a position to form victim mentalities for themselves. And well, that coach didn't like me, or woe is me. And, well, newsflash, welcome to the world. That's just, I mean, you're going to have a boss one day. You're going to have people that you work with that you don't always like. And it's not a matter of if you don't like somebody, it's when. And then how do I, as a young adult, navigate these situations and learn how to develop as obviously a better athlete, but then a young man or a young woman going through, their life. We're joined here by Gee Scott Jr. here on the Gee and Ursula Show. I want to talk about you now. When times got hard for you at Ohio State, maybe in the beginning you didn't play as much as you could have, and then there were opportunities for you to maybe leave, and you had offered money to go elsewhere, and an opportunity for you to play, even get more playing time. We want to know, why didn't you leave? Yeah, I'll put it this way. I think one of the best, when it's all said and done, and I could say it now, and I believe I'll say this for the rest of my life, the decision that I made to spend all 5 years at Ohio State was arguably one of the best decisions I could have ever made in my life. Now, not just, and that's not limited to football. Obviously, I think it did great for my football career. I think it's put me in a position now where I'm still able to continue playing this game. But on the other side of that coin, the character development and the things that I learned, and, you know, like I mentioned a moment ago, the easy thing to do is, hey, these coaches don't like me and these coaches don't see my potential. Let me go somewhere else. And I see this over and over and over again where guys will go somewhere, they'll transfer, and then they'll be having the same kind of conversations. Well, these coaches, man, they be tripping. So now you're on your third and your fourth place that you've transferred to. And I think the reality is at some point down the line, you can keep kicking the can down the road, but at some point, I think it's important that we look ourselves in the mirror and say, what can I do to develop and be better? So I would just say, as a man and as an athlete, sticking it through adversity, pushing through a lot of the things that I've pushed through thick and thin, it brought out a better version of myself that I can look in the mirror and be proud of and be ready to kind of go into the whatever chapter of life that I'm headed into.
Okay, but what about the money, son? Like right now, there's a lot. I mean, we're talking, listen, opportunity, you sign here, and then you have another opportunity to sign for another 2 years. So and by the way, I agree with what you're saying, but I want you to help us better understand these young men or women, but we're talking about college football, so we're talking about young men. Right. These young men that are going to the opportunity to get life-changing money for themselves and for their families. So when we're talking about NIL, obviously we hear payday, but what part of it is it that maybe we don't understand about this in a NIL life?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I completely understand everything about it. I really caught it at a time. You got me? Yep. It's changing by the year. I remember when it started in 2021, my first year being introduced to the NIL world, it's completely different. Even now, since I've left last year, it's completely growing and it's changing, and guys are getting paid numbers that, I'll be honest, I never sat in those rooms and heard any these kind of numbers that I'm hearing that's going on today. And so it's changing and changing. And so, I mean, I guess to a certain degree, I guess it may just be the maturation process of college football and the direction it's going. Because for some of these guys, I kind of get it to a certain degree. Maybe the NFL isn't promising. You want to solidify yourself an opportunity to go and make the amount of money that you want to make during your college. Maybe you have people back home that you need to take care of. You have uncertainty with distant family members and whatever the case may be, where you feel the necessity to need to make a financial decision for your life and for your family. I guess I get it, but I would be lying if I said, I was in a situation where I needed to make a decision like that when it came to this lucrative amount of money.
Well, before you go, one last question for you. At this current rate, and where like you said even since you left last season, right, where you won a national championship, if college football continues at this pace, do you foresee college football still existing, or it's still being college football, or do you think eventually they might have to rename it something else? Your thoughts?
It's gonna look a whole lot different. I don't know how they're gonna go about it. I was actually talking about this the other day. I don't know how they're gonna go about the school aspect, but the school is the only thing that's holding this thing on by a thread. If it wasn't for school, this thing is long gone. Well, this is semi-pro. This isn't. So school is the only thing that's, in my opinion, that's holding it on by a thread. And then when you're enrolled in a university and you're in the way that these programs are, if you start treating and paying these players like they're employees or they're on staff, then we have to have the conversation. Can guys get fired and can guys get cut? These are all conversations that I think that need to happen. But regardless of the fact of exactly how it's going to look, I believe here in the next, even where we stand right now in the next 5 years, it's going to look dramatically different. And I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but to be quite honest, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm glad I got out when I did.
Hey, just think about it, son. You went there, became a man, found your wife to be, got you a place to stay there. Hey, your name is good in Columbus, Ohio, huh?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm OH till the day I die.
All right, son. Love you, man. Gotta go.
All right, love you too.
All right. Hey, coming up next, a record number of young men are living with their parents. My son ain't. Next, Gee Ursula.
For seniors, the new year is a good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
At Skyline Seattle, senior living never sounded so good. We celebrate the arts and are building enviable cultural partnerships like the Ballardet Quartet from the Seattle Chamber Music Society and the Seattle Art Museum. We provide our residents all the energy Seattle offers. Make your home at Seattle's only true life care community. Culture has an address. Skyline. Discover it all at skylineseattle.org.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Let's ring in the new year by finally checking off something that actually matters. Your old videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever.
Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, or early generation iPhones.
Legacy Box is truly the easiest New Year's resolution you'll ever keep. Just fill your box and send it in. As the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos, all work is done in the U.S., and we're trusted by over 1 million families.
Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/radio for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/radio for 55% off.
Guys, low energy, low drive, or strength not what it used to be? For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, start with a free T-check exam and consultation to get real answers. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. Call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com. Terms apply. Must medically qualify.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not-so-wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho! And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company. Pure Talk.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we know that keeping your home watertight and dry is essential to your family's safety and comfort. Having well-functioning gutters prevents water damage to your home and prolongs the life of your roof. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning to everybody. Grateful that you're hanging out with the show. Want to thank my son, G. Scott Jr., for coming on to talk about the state of college football. I just want to put a bow on that conversation. If there's one of the things, one of my takeaways, and even listening to my son talk about it, is this. Whatever your opinions of yes, no, maybe so, NIL, transfer portal, all of this stuff, the one thing that I think that we can collectively agree on, I think that we will see less fans tomorrow than we did yesterday. And where's going to be the proof? Remember I said this. We're going to watch this. The semifinals are coming up right now. There's 4 teams left in college football. Watch the ratings for this college football games that are coming up compared to last year. We will see a decrease, I believe, in college football ratings. And I know that there's some fans that are probably starting to be like, I'm kind of done with this, and that's never good.
We got 2 texters. One said they were a 30-plus year season ticket holder for the Huskies.
Yeah.
Dropped it. Another one said they'd been a season ticket holder for 50-plus years, and they're getting rid of them.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not – whatever your opinion is, I think that we could all agree that there will be less fans tomorrow than there were yesterday. Are boys becoming men later in life? Well, today, young men are almost twice as likely to be single as women. They're less likely to go to college and more than likely to be unemployed. Well, this ain't starting off good. They're also more likely to still be living with their parents. Check this out. In the 70s, only 8% of young people aged 25 to 34 were living with their parents. Today, 20% of young men are still living at home, compared to 15% of women. And The Guardian points out it's making it really hard for those men to date. There's even a new term for these guys. They're called trad sons or stay-at-home sons. That means describes young men who live at home with their parents, often rent-free, while their parents cover most or all of their bills. Only got a couple minutes left, and I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to demonize young men or anyone that's still living at home. You want to know why? Because it's not that the young men are less than. It's not that these youngsters are less than. We, in this show, we have been screaming about affordability in this country. We have been screaming about the low wages that have not kept up with inflation. What do I mean by that? Let's see. In 2009, the federal minimum wage was $7.25. It is now 2026. What is the federal minimum wage? Oh, I did some research. It's $7.25. So, again, I don't want to demonize youngsters. And by the way, I think it's a great idea. If you have an opportunity to live at home, do it. My generation, we were the ones getting out by the time you're 18, and we said, oh my goodness, I can't wait till I turn 18. How many of you, when you turned 18, moved out, and then you were back at home at 20? So if that's the case, do me a favor. If you can stay at home as long as you can, and you can, hey, look, if you love your parents like my man, Brother Chef, does, and you have an opportunity to live at home with your family, why am I hating it? See, we always worry about how it looks instead of how it is.
Gee, one of probably the most, I guess, self-reflecting moments in my life was when I was in my 20s. I'd moved back in with my parents.
Yeah.
I went over to my friend Tom's house. He's living with his parents. We have another buddy who's also living with his parents, hanging out with us on the couch.
Yeah.
His mom comes downstairs and she looks at us. She goes, "Oh, look, it's the Boomerang Club."
Oh.
And we're like, Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it's interesting. Like, people want to take shots at our young generation, but we don't want to do anything about it. So if we want to start having that discussion, great. If not, you guys want to tell the youngsters to pull themselves up by their bootstraps? Okay. That's another thing, too. So just remember, that number is probably going to increase of youngsters that are staying at home.
You didn't even mention the fact that job opportunities are going down, combined with the rise of inflation. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster.
Good stuff, Nick. Good stuff. That's why you just hang out with the Gee and Ursula Show. We get through it. Coming up next, Seahawks. That's right. They're the top team in NFL football. And who better to come talk about it? Mike Salk with Seattle Sports joins us next.
Gee and Ursula agree to disagree.
This is happening until we do a better job at addressing affordable housing.
We're spending more money on homelessness, and yet it does keep getting worse.
Weekday mornings at 11:06 on KIRO News Radio.
If you've been putting off retirement conversations because you're worried it's going to turn into a sales pitch, you're not alone. Hi, Ursula Reutin here. At Trajan Wealth, the focus starts with listening. Their advisors are fiduciaries, which means they're bound to put your needs first. And that changes the tone right away. No pressure, no promises. They're not working off commissions, and they're not pushing any specific products. With Trajan Wealth, it's about understanding where you are and having a clearer sense of what your options look like. Trajan Wealth is veteran-owned and works with families who want thoughtful guidance that fits real life. Start the new year off right with a game-changing financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth today to figure out how to make your New Year's resolution stick. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300 or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Logan Fury did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he bought a mini treadmill. Is walking on it during video conference calls more distracting than he thought? Yes. And is that because he overestimated his foot-eye coordination? Definitely. But it's Logan's savings, and if he wants to burn calories and any chance at a promotion, we say, good for you, Logan. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready to kick off 2026 on a healthier path? Our New Year, New You event has everything you need, from saltwater hot tubs to rejuvenating saunas and cold plunges, or staying active with a swim spa. We've got the perfect way to help you feel your best. Enjoy special savings on our entire wellness lineup now through January 11th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. Drill, baby, drill. If you're an SEC accredited investor looking for one of the most powerful tax advantages available in 2026, now is the time to take a serious look at Encore Energy. Under current federal guidelines, accredited investors may be able to deduct up to 100% of their investment in 2026. And for many investors, that level of tax relief is simply too valuable to ignore. Encore Energy offers operator direct participation in U.S. horizontal oil drilling in areas with a long record of success, including more than 100 producing wells already drilled. These are established fields with existing infrastructure and proven and ongoing production potential. For investors with 100K seeking aggressive tax strategy, portfolio diversification, and a way to participate directly in American energy development, call Encore Energy to get details now. These programs involve significant risk and aren't suitable for everyone. Call 1-800-544-1221. That's 1-800-544-1221. Again, 1-800-544-1221. Encore Energy, where smart investors act before the window closes. Encore Energy at 1-800-544-1221.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. A deadly clash today between protesters and federal ICE agents in Minneapolis. Adam Duxter of CBS Minnesota.
At one point, a federal agent went up to the Honda Pilot in an attempt to open up the driver's side door, and they say that's when the driver of that Honda Pilot put it in reverse and then drove away. And they say that's when neighbors tell me that's when they heard multiple shots go out. They believe it was a federal agent firing shots into the side of that Honda Pilot. We were then told that a person from that car was taken out, put on the ground. There was CPR attempted.
Homeland Security says that shooting victim died. Around 2,000 federal agents are now operating in the Twin Cities. In two separate military actions, the U.S. seized Venezuelan-linked oil tankers, one in the Caribbean. The other had been tracked for weeks into the North Atlantic under a Russian flag and escort. CBS's James Laporta.
Laws of the sea conventions have carve-outs, particularly if those ships are sanctioned, particularly if those ships are used for terrorism financing. The selling of oil could finance terrorism, and they can be interdicted if they are involved in narco-traffic operations.
When it comes to U.S. plans to acquire or take over Greenland, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt put it this way today.
Well, that's something that's currently being actively discussed by the president and his national security team.
Newly issued government dietary guidelines, the first in 5 years, stress whole foods and protein and shun sugar and carbs.
High-quality proteins like chicken and beans, fats from dairy and eggs, whole grains, and fruits and veggies are all in, while starchy carbs, sugar-sweetened drinks, and highly processed foods are out.
My message is clear: eat real food.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Federal policy promoted and subsidized highly processed foods and refined carbohydrates and turned a blind eye to the disastrous consequences. Today, the lies stop.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
By one count, a year after the deadly and destructive fires in the L.A. area, fewer than a dozen homes have been entirely rebuilt. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti is in Pacific Palisades.
Many people that we have spoken with saying that they're having struggles with getting their permits approved and getting insurance buyouts so that they could start that process. 25 miles northeast of here, a very similar story unfolding in Altadena, where you have homes after homes and entire neighborhoods yet to break ground. 16,000 structures in these two communities combined were destroyed.
The Dow is down. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
The rules for driving by a crash site, but first, KIRO News Radio traffic. You do have a crash slowing traffic eastbound out of Seattle on the I-90 bridge. Otherwise, travel times are good or better than typical. Up in the mountains, Snoqualmie Pass, mostly bare and wet. Traction tires advised. Stevens Pass, compact snow and ice chains for everyone except if you have all-wheel drive. White Pass, snow and ice, traction tires required, and truckers chain up. Traffic brought to you by Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's Complete Auto Repair has earned a local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. Buc-ee's.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. It's chain-up time for big rigs in the mountains.
Kind of a pain in the really. I've been here a half hour now trying to do this, and it's just not cooperating.
A winter storm expected to dump up to 4 feet of snow by tomorrow afternoon. It's a welcome sight, though, for powder-hungry skiers and snowboarders. This man at Snoqualmie Pass telling KIRO 7 TV.
I was like, let me get up here and see Snoqualmie, and then I'll come up with some friends next week to see Alpental. I'm super excited.
But the Stevens Pass Resort won't be able to take advantage of the snow just yet. A power outage has shut down Stevens Pass for the day. Several Washington state troopers have been hit by cars while assisting at accident scenes recently in the Puget Sound region. One trooper was even killed. This has law enforcement reminding drivers to move over. KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman explains.
A majority of these recent crashes have been while troopers are responding to calls.
Anytime there is an emergency vehicle behind you or you're approaching an emergency vehicle, it is courtesy to move over a lane and provide that space.
Because if you don't, here in Washington, you could face a fine of $214, which is why having that awareness not only can save you money, but lives on the road.
A warning to drivers, Revive I-5 closures are coming back to the Ship Canal Bridge. WashDOT's Judith Meredith says that means
we will fully close northbound I-5 this weekend from I-90 to Northeast 45th Street starting at midnight, January 9th, and reopening at 5 a.m., January 12th.
Crews are creating work zones for a long-term 2-lane closure through 2026. Seattle City Council member Joy Hollingsworth has been unanimously elected council president for 2026-27. The fourth-generation Seattleite is promising inclusiveness and transparency. A Seattle Mariners getting praise on and off the field.
Julio! Solo home run, and the Mariners have the lead.
Julio Rodriguez opened a newly remodeled baseball complex in his hometown in the Dominican Republic. It has the country's first public AstroTurf facility, 3 baseball fields, a soccer field, and more. KIRO Newsradio weather. Rain today with highs in the low 40s here in the lowlands. It's 41 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy New Year, happy Wednesday, and happy everything you want to be happy in your life. Ursula is out today. Don't you worry, we're going to hold it down. That's right. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Appreciate you all being with us. Coming up at 10:30. Is good manners still a thing? Is that important to you? Well, we're going to have a discussion because there's some that are saying that the thrill is gone, that manners are gone. But right now, what better to do than to talk about the hottest team in football? As a matter of fact, the Seahawks have had a blow up from the flow up under second year head coach Mike Macdonald. Boy, I can't count on those notes. And I don't think anyone expected the team to be this good. Well, maybe our next guest did. He's on the hottest show, the best show on the West Coast when it comes to sports. And he's part of the Brock and Salk show on Seattle Sports Station. Mike Salk, good morning, sir.
Good morning. We got to do this quick because I got to get over the Ship Canal Bridge before I'm locked out for like the next 2 years.
Yes, you just won't have a nap today.
No, I'm just out there talking to Sully. Like I'm gonna shut it down, man. Like I may move. I may be on the East Coast soon.
You cover the Seahawks every single day. You interview every Monday after a big game. You interview the head coach, Mike Macdonald. What are we seeing right now that tells you that this is not a one-hit wonder and this is most likely going to sustain?
That's a good question. First of all, let me be very clear. I did not see this coming. You suggested that maybe I did. I did not. I know you didn't either.
I did not.
Neither of us saw this. No. Now, I thought they'd be good this year. In fact, I was in the desert right before the season started and saw the over-under at, 8.5? Mm-hmm. I was like, that looks pretty good, and threw a little over. And, okay, so I thought they were going to be a good team. I thought they'd have at least 9 or 10 wins.
Okay.
I didn't see 14. Ooh. I didn't see a division championship necessarily. I didn't see the first-round bye and home field throughout the playoffs, just like they did in both 2013 and 14. So, no, I did not see this. In terms of your actual question, what do you see that makes it look sustainable? I mean, the number one answer to that is not just Mike Macdonald, but the chemistry and alignment between the head coach, Mike Macdonald, general manager, John Schneider, and I'm going to throw a third person onto that list who doesn't always get credit for everything around here. I'm going to put the owner, Jody Allen, on that list as well. Jody has made 2 very difficult decisions in the last 5 years, and she got both of them right.
What is that?
The first being to move on from Russell Wilson, the second being to move on from Pete Carroll. And she was right on both of them. Neither of those were easy decisions. It's always hard to move on from people. Hiring is one thing, but actually knowing when the end is there as for well-liked pillars of the community and staples on sports radio and throughout Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll were the two biggest names in Seattle. And Jody correctly knew when it was time to move on from both of them. So you got to give her a lot of credit for that. She doesn't always get that. John Schneider got it right, 100% right in hiring Mike Macdonald. And in the drafts that he's had for the last 4 years, they've all been on point. The trades, the free agents. I mean, John is just on a heater right now. And then you get to Mike Macdonald, who has just been a difference maker. And there's a bunch of reasons why. He's very different from Pete Carroll. He does not do it the same way at all. But he's got a lot of conviction. He's very authentic about who he is and the way he handles his business and treats his players. And those two things, in addition to being a really smart football guy, have created I think, look, you never know in the NFL, but it sure seems to be a very sustainable type of product.
In your profession, in the sports world, identity shift comes up often. And you taught me something on how to do this, so I'm not going to give you an out. You can only pick one.
Yeah.
The identity shift for this Seahawks team, is it coaching or is it roster construction?
If I can only pick one, it's coaching. There are elements of both, but very clearly, if you're going to put me into that box, no, it's coaching. That's been the biggest difference. Pete had some talent that was not being used, I think, to its best of its ability. And, it's not just the head coach. It's not like a basketball coach who's sort of in charge of everything. And you know this as well as anybody. The number of assistant coaches that play such a big role. I don't know if the biggest difference and the one big culture difference, identity difference, is Pete Carroll to Mike Macdonald. But I do think it is the entire coaching staff and the brain power and everything that was associated with the guys coaching under Pete to what Mike Macdonald has brought in under him. Because I think that was the last piece this year, right? Mike Macdonald was here last year. They were good. They weren't great. What was the one big thing he did? Now, the quarterback was one. The other was the offensive coordinator. They just said, hey, this isn't working. We need to bring in a new guy. And guess what? A year later, Clint Kubiak is a head coaching candidate in 4 of the 7 cities that have a job right now. So they got it right.
That's crazy. You're listening to the voice of Mike Salk. You can hear his show every single day, Monday through Friday, the Brock and Salk Show, 6 to 10 a.m. It is a fantastic show. It's the best show on sports radio. Here's one. You interview Coach Mike Macdonald once a week. You have been doing that for the last 2 seasons. Bring us into the very beginning of those interviews and how they have elevated or have gotten different or what you have learned from then till now.
All right, so let me just say, I just gave Mike a lot of credit for everything that he and his coaching staff have done and how much better it's been than Pete.
No.
Not so much with the interview. I like Mike, and I don't think he'd be offended to hear me say he's not Pete Carroll for a 25-minute interview.
Okay.
Pete was the best, man. Getting to talk to him every week for whatever it was, 12, 13 years was special. And I learned a lot from him, and I thought it really became a great 25-minute radio segment. Mike's not quite there. That's not really like his thing the same way it is for Pete. It has gotten better and evolved, and I do learn from him. That being said, he had a 17.2 second pause of dead air this past week when I asked him a question. So you never know exactly what's going to happen. That's a true story. Yeah,
wait, what?
Wait,
it's in the system. You can go find it.
Now,
it's in the Brock and Salk folder if you want to play it.
Let's stop right there.
Yeah,
17
seconds.
Okay, don't say anything.
No, you don't want to do this. Trust me.
I wasn't going to 17. I was just going to 5.
You might set the alarms off, and it'll go to like special programming for dead air.
What was the question?
I had asked him if John Schneider should be the executive of the year. He said it should be unanimous. I said, okay, give me the number one reason why. And there were 17 seconds of dead air before eventually, it's a true story, before eventually he said conviction, which was actually a pretty good answer. And I think he was just searching for the right word. But yeah, he is in his own world, and it is very much football-based. Let me give you a better answer to your question, though, about what I've really learned. Mike, similarly in some ways to Pete, has a bunch of sayings that are very important to him. And if you start to listen to them and understand them and ask him about them, you'll learn a lot about his systematic view on not just how to coach football, but how to coach people. And, you'll hear a lot of these things. He talks about shocking effort. He talks about chasing edges. He talks about
what's some of
the difference between methods and principles.
Can you give us one that you understand and maybe that you like?
So the biggest one that I was misunderstanding that I think I'm now starting to understand is he talks a lot about complementary football.
Okay.
And when I heard that, I thought he meant, hey, look, the defense is great. That's the star. And the offense has to be a complementary piece to that. So they're along for the ride. Right? You don't want the offense to screw it up for the defense.
Okay.
But the more I've talked to him and asked him about it, the more I realize what he actually means is that complementary kind of means complete to him. It doesn't devalue the offense.
Okay.
It just means that everything needs to fit together in a complete way, and the roster has kind of been built that way. So everything fits together. Football, as you know as well as anybody, G.
Yeah.
There's no one. Every time you want to point at one part of the game, you say, well, but how is that affected by this? Well, look at the wide receiver. Well, who was his quarterback? Well, then who was his offensive line? Well, then who was his offensive coordinator? Well, why didn't they have the ball more often? Well, why didn't the defense? I mean, you can go around in circles. It's why it's the greatest sports radio sport there is, because everything is so interconnected. I think Mike has a very, very good sense of that, and it's really helped him coach this group.
Who's your favorite player on this team?
Oh, my gosh.
And
God,
why?
I could give you a bunch of answers.
You can give us any of them. You can give us one or two. You don't have to rank them.
Right now, today?
Right now, and why?
I want to... you're killing me.
I know. I apologize.
I think it's Leonard Williams. Just because I think he's the most important player on the team, what he's done this year. Everything, I think, kind of comes about because of Leonard Williams, the big cat, and not just what he is on the field, which is a dominant defensive lineman, arguably the most important position on the field, but what he seems to be in the locker room and for the team and the personality. This team is not a everybody doubted us type of a team. They're a fun-loving bunch and a smart group, and I think a lot of that comes from Leonard Williams. I really want to say DeMarcus Lawrence because I just love him and I love the energy. Coach called him a maniac this week, which I thought was a great phrase for I love that. I mean, I could go on for Nick Eamon-Warry is going to end up being my favorite player when it's all said and done. There are some guys on the offense I could point to, honestly, and your guy JSN's been unbelievable. I mean, I love Zach Charbonnet. There's a bunch of guys. Honestly, you go for a while.
Right.
But I'd be lying to you if it wasn't someone on the defense. The defense, to me, is the thing that has really come around and made this team special.
You're listening to the voice of Mike Salk here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Now, Mike, coming up, the Seahawks have a bye, right? And help us better understand what's next.
Yeah, well, fortunately, nothing for now, which is great. You get to sit around and watch games this weekend and have fun and not worry about it too much.
Yeah.
They will play the lowest remaining seed. So if Green Bay wins, it's Green Bay. And that's it. No other options. Green Bay beats Chicago, it's Green Bay. If Chicago wins, then you look at San Francisco. If San Francisco wins, it would be them. If both of those two teams lose, it will be the winner of the Carolina Rams game. Those are your only options, those four teams.
Okay, so...
And they'll come here.
And it'll play here.
Yeah.
Of the teams that are in the playoffs... Which team can everybody that you think this is the biggest threat?
Yeah, it's the Rams, I think, and everyone is going to know that. I mean, just because they've had the Seahawks number, and even when you beat them, it took this incredible comeback in the fourth quarter. So the Rams are the team that's out there that's going to scare everybody. I'm not sleeping on the Eagles either. I don't really want the Eagles coming here with that defense. They won a championship last year. Those two teams have a bunch in common. They both have very good defenses. I would argue the other two best defenses left in the NFC after the Seahawks. And they also have quarterbacks that can make off-schedule and very quick decisions. And I think that if there's anything that gives this team a problem, this defense problem, there's not much. That would kind of be the thing.
Vulnerability is a topic and a word that comes up in maybe relationships, but sometimes in football as well. If you could help us understand right now, what is the vulnerability of the Seahawks? Like, what's their one area where you're just like,
It's funny. I thought you were going to talk about how they're very vulnerable with each other, because this is a group that has been very interested in talking to each other and, being open and honest and learning about each other. You got a punter and a defensive lineman that have become good friends. I mean, that doesn't happen every day, as you know, on every football team. So I think they've shared a lot of their own vulnerability as humans with each other. In terms of your question, we've gone this whole time. We haven't mentioned the quarterback's name. It's Sam Darnold. And I'm going to get grief because everyone thinks I don't like Sam, and it's not true. I like Sam a lot. Love and trust are a little different. What's the Pearl Jam song, A State of Love and Trust? The love part, I'm there. The trust part, it's not quite all the way fully there. And I don't think I'm alone on that. People are pretty split. Some people are all in. Others are saying, look, I like him a lot. He certainly has the ability to get it done. But until you see it in the big games against those two top-tier defenses, Philly and L.A., I think that there's just still going to be some question. I don't know if that's vulnerability, but more just question.
Right. This defense now, the dark side.
Yeah. You like that? Do you like the dark side?
Yes.
I kind of do, too. I like that it's that they came up with it.
So I didn't know, just full transparency, everyone, I didn't know about the name The Dark Side. So I get my notes for the game, pregame, as this is what they want me to say down on the field, and I see the dark side defense, and I was like, wait, who's
what's that?
What is this? And then they're like, oh, they call themselves the dark side now, and I said, oh, okay, like the LOB, and now I had some people hit me up. You need to find out and come up with a name for the era with Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander. So we have the LOB.
Yeah.
We now have the dark side.
Those are just the ugly uniform era, no?
I mean, you didn't have to go there.
I did. Those uniforms are trash. Those uniforms are the worst. I always feel bad for Matt that he had to win wearing those uniforms.
Yeah, they were.
They're ugly.
They were pretty
They're
bad.
Really ugly.
We got 2 minutes left here on this show. When it comes to the dark side in this defense, 26 games in a row of not allowing a 100-yard rusher. I mean, they're good, but did you see them being this elite?
No, I mean, we knew there was a chance, right? We talked about them being a top 10 for sure and maybe a top 5 defense this year.
Yeah.
I wanted them maybe to go out and add to it and get even better on the defense and go get another pass rusher. I talked about Trey Hendrickson. We talked about Max Crosby. We talked about Myles Garrett. And by the way, all three of those guys might have made this defense even better than it is. I didn't realize they'd be this good. Byron Murphy has taken a huge leap in his second year. We talked about Leonard Williams. I think he's the most underrated player in the entire NFL. I think he is tremendous. I don't think anyone outside of, I don't even know if John Schneider knew that DeMarcus Lawrence was going to be as good at this stage of his career as he's been generally. Those older pass rushers are kind of meh. Yeah. Their best days are behind him. He is a force of nature.
Yeah.
Chen has come back and been healthy in a way that kind of forgot what kind of player he was before he had gotten hurt. It's allowed players like Boye Mafe and Derek Hall to be more in a secondary role that probably suits them better and allows them to be better when they're actually out on the field. This Drake Thomas kid came out of nowhere. I mean, man, I didn't see it all. I didn't see it all happening the way it did, but it has been incredible. And then you add to that, he doesn't like to be called a genius. He's a defensive genius, man.
Defensive genius.
He's in that. Yeah. He's in that small group of guys who just understand this game in a unique way.
One last question, and I have to give this player some love because I have been on his head the entire time.
Oh, I know who this is.
Finally, it feels and seems like Mike McDonald has this player on the defense rolling.
Reek. Gotta be Reek.
Come on, Reek.
Gotta be Reek.
Come on, Reek.
Yeah.
They were sitting you down and not starting you.
Accountability, right? And Pete, this is another thing. And I don't need to kind of crush Pete at the end because I really have a tremendous amount of respect for everything he did. But the whole competition idea, right? Compete every day, always compete. It kind of went away at the end a little bit. And guys like Reek were allowed to continue to kind of have too much power, too much comfort in their job. Mike doesn't suffer that. You're not playing well. Josh Job's going to go out there and compete. It's going to be his job. Yeah. Well, guess what? Reek responded. And kudos to him for doing so. He didn't pout. He didn't complain. Yeah. He made himself better, and he's been great the last few weeks. So is your guy. Let's shout out G. Best in the world.
No!
His buddy, JSN. Shout out G occasionally.
Mike Salk, thanks for coming on, man.
You got it. I got to get out of here before the Ship Canal Bridge goes away forever.
By the way, just so you all know, I do a segment usually on Fridays at 8:30 on the Brock and Salk Show. Am I coming in this Friday?
I don't know. We'll see. What's in it for me?
You got to come on here today.
Oh, all right. Then yes. Right. Thank you for the thrill.
Thanks, Mike.
See ya.
Appreciate it. Hey, coming up next, good manners. Do you make sure they have good manners? As a matter of fact, here's a question for you. I actually have one huge question when it comes to manners that you got to stick around and get ready to answer next. Gee Ursula.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO Newsradio app.
Did you know that 25% of your home's heat loss is through your attic? Hot air rises, and if your attic isn't properly insulated, the hot air is going to rise right through your ceiling, into your attic, and out your roof that's far past its half-life. That sounds cold and expensive. Hey, this is Jake Skorheim. If this sounds like your house, it's time to call Valentine. And right now, Valentine has a great winter special. Bundle attic insulation with any new roof, and you'll save an additional 10% off your entire project. Plus, with Valentine's financing options, they make it easy. No matter what your home needs, insulation, gutters, siding, or a new roof, you are guaranteed the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service, even in winter weather. My home is protected by Valentine. They keep me off the roof, which my wife and kids are extremely grateful for. I trust them to help you too. To lock in your winter bundle savings, call 206 Roofing today. Again, that's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine vans, you know your home is in good hands. 206 Roofing.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not so wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho. And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company. Pure Talk.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Hewitt here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got 3 options. Number 1, sell your home. 2, get a HELOC or refinance. Or 3, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled Tila, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready to kick off 2026 on a healthier path? Our New Year, New You event has everything you need, from saltwater hot tubs to rejuvenating saunas and cold plunges, or staying active with a swim spa. We've got the perfect way to help you feel your best. Enjoy special savings on our entire wellness lineup now through January 11th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Guys, feeling low energy or low drive? It could be low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health, start with a free T-check and consultation. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off TRT. Book now at ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Gold, platinum, and Grammy-winning trumpeter Chris Bodie crossed over from jazz to pop stardom. Now he's crossing back. Hear his return to acoustic jazz and classic standards live at Jazz Alley, January 14th through 18th. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
CBS News special report, a deadly confrontation between protesters and ICE agents in Minneapolis. CBS's Nicole Skanga at the scene.
They heard at least one shot fired, though we are now learning from the Department of Homeland Security that there were multiple shots and that there was one individual lying on the ground.
Connor White of CBS Minnesota piecing together what happened.
According to ICE, this was an incident where a woman was trying to run over an agent and one of them fired their service weapon.
Homeland Security says that woman died of her injuries.
In terms of federal presence, we're still seeing some FBI agents taking a look at that vehicle. It is a Honda SUV that appears to have a bullet hole through the window.
This comes amid a new influx of around 2,000 ICE agents into the Twin Cities. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry said after the incident, immigration agents are causing chaos. CBS News Special Report. I'm Steve Kathan.
And I'm Heather Bosch. A state agency admits it vastly overestimated the amount of good one of its programs is doing to curb climate change.
They screwed up the numbers. They made a gigantic math error.
Todd Myers with the Washington Policy Center tells the Jake and Spike Show the Commerce Department claimed a program to convert homes from fossil fuels to electricity would take 7.5 million metric tons of greenhouse gases out of the air, but it won't. It'll only reduce 78,000 tons of emissions. Commerce blames a clerical error. The program's paid for with funds from the Climate Commitment Act. Puget Sound Energy says customers are paying higher bills in the new year, in part because of requirements under the Climate Commitment Act. PSE customers will pay about 12% more for electricity and 7% more for natural gas. The rate hikes approved by the state. The express toll lanes on northbound State Route 167 between Sumner and Pacific goes active Monday, several months after the rest of the corridor went live.
The new tolling system between Sumner and Renton was supposed to go live in October. The state postponed tolling on the initial 6-mile section to Pacific because of the bridge strike damage to an overpass that reduced the lanes of traffic. The rest of the corridor did go live in October, but now that the overpass has been fixed, that section of express toll lane can now join. The new toll lane allows solo drivers to pay their way in with the hopes of a faster trip. Chris Sullivan, KIRO News Radio.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 266 points, NASDAQ up 129. KIRO News Radio traffic. The crash has been cleared from eastbound I-90 out of Seattle right now, so your bridge is wide open. Travel times are excellent. Everett to Seattle, 26 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 21. Renton to Bellevue, 19. Snoqualmie Pass, mostly bare and wet on the roadway right now. Traction tires advised. Stevens Pass compact snow and ice changed for everyone except all-wheel drive. White Pass snow and ice, traction tires required, and truckers, you got to chain up. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. KIRO News Radio weather, rain today with highs in the low 40s. It's 41 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Good morning, everybody. It's Gee Ursula Show. We got scenarios coming up here in about, about 12 minutes. We'll be doing scenarios. But right now, we want to talk about manners. Before we get into this topic, I just want to say something. Growing up, I remember being so annoyed with the correction and pronunciation. You need to say it this way, and you need to say yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and you need to call them this way, and you can't say what, and you can't say huh. And it just felt like I was in a verbal prison as a kid, like constantly. But oh, am I so thankful. And I'll tell you why, because here's this thing. It was in the New York Times. So the question is this, are good manners going away? Does anyone care about etiquette anymore? I really want to talk about the kids these days, because in this New York Times, a grandmother wrote in asking whether anyone writes thank you cards anymore, because her grandkids don't. By the way, if you don't do a thank you card, you could just kind of maybe a nice text message or an email or something. But anyways, a lot of kids today also call adults by their first name. Kids are way more comfortable with interrupting adults. Ooh. Hey, when I was growing up, the fastest way to go to bed on a Friday, Saturday night was to interrupt an adult. As a matter of fact, I just never said nothing. But anyways, so my question is, does that make today's kids rude or disrespectful, or are etiquette rules just changing? And by the way, you guys don't want to hear my grandpa version of this, so I need you to text in 888-973-5476. And I'm going to take this time to just sit back in my chair, and I'm going to learn from Chef and Nick. Chef, start first, sir.
I do think that kids today are more disrespectful than they've ever been. Some of the things like, okay, thank you cards. I wasn't great about that when I was a kid. I think a text is perfectly acceptable. But today's kids have no problem talking back to adults, interrupting. Like the major shift, it seems like today's kids believe that the adults in their lives are there to serve them. And their role as a child is to have adults do things for them. Like my kids will call, the neighbors by their first names. Okay, it bothers me a little bit. But just even with my own kids, like how casual kids are these days, I don't like it at all. I don't know. What do you think about young people these days? I'm specifically talking about teens and younger.
Okay. Because I think that parents today have been like, it's okay, you can say that, or even swearing. Like, I remember even right now, to this day, if I see some of my friends' parents that are still alive, I will not swear in front of them. Yes. And I think, and by the way, I'm getting ready to turn 50 years old. So I think that it feels like the last of my generation. And if you're older than me, you for sure know way much better than me on this topic. But I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up with yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. If my name was called, it would sound like this. Hey, I would not respond back with, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And my mom would, yeah. Who you yelling? It's yes. So those things as a kid that was just ingrained in me, what has it done for me as an adult? then I don't have to turn it off and on. It's already in me. So if I'm at the counter, yes, ma'am, and the lady says, oh, don't call me ma'am, then I won't call her ma'am. Okay, I apologize. But somebody just texted in a second ago, and they just said, it's never inappropriate to be too polite. Where was that at? Oh, that was Eric in Columbia City that said that. But I think that because manners are not what they used to be, I believe kids today or young adults today are having a tougher time with their communication, right? And they don't.
Yeah.
And they don't know. When's the last time you have getting ready to go into a store and the young man in front of you just walks in and doesn't hold the door for you? What?
Yeah,
Not to hold the door for the lady?
Well, here's the thing. Like, there are bad things, though, also about the way that manners were perceived to be in the past. You know, don't speak unless spoken to. That kind of attitude. Like, kids didn't have the same level of confidence and autonomy that they do now. And I think we're raising kids to be more independent, to be able to speak up for themselves, like to realize that even though I'm a small person, I'm still a human being with, value and dignity. But I worry too. I worry about the kids these days.
Nick, talk to you.
Well, piggybacking on that point, Chef, I think the line has been pushed a little too far to what we were wanting from kids in terms of being polite. But to add to it, I think there are some parents today that they don't necessarily want to be treated in such a formal manner. Like for my dad, for example, when I had my friends over, sure, like there was a certain standard of respect you had for people. But at the same time, if my friends called my dad Mr. Krasia, he would go out and say, no, please call me Dave. He didn't really want that kind of approach. But at the same time, I think that opened the door for some kids to maybe go a little further and not respond in certain ways, maybe even like to the point of swearing, which that never happened with my friends, or I haven't seen that before. But it's getting to the point where, you keep giving them more and more. And gee, like you mentioned, it's always the safe bet to be polite over, trying to be too casual. But you got to be knowing what certain situations you're in. There are some people that don't like that kind of formality, and you got to know who you're talking to.
Allison from Stillicum just text in. And thank you for this text, Allison, because this is huge. This is so huge. Hey, young men, fellas, men in general, you're sitting down. Lady walks in. Doesn't matter the age. Lady walks in. If there's not any seats, please don't remain seated and let that lady stand. Young people that won't give up their seat for the elderly person makes me want to slap them, is what Allison says. Don't slap them. But I also want to say one more thing going forward. TV shows. I'm not one of those that sits here and blames TV or blames the media, but I gotta say this. When I was coming up, TV shows, it felt like the parents were competent. It felt like the parents were of authority. And some of these TV shows show parents in a different light sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
And kind of dumb them, you know what I mean? I guess it all started with Married with Children.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Let me give you one more example. Like, my kids don't really have a concept of what the head of the table means.
Oh! The head of the table. That used to be a thing.
That's one of the more old-fashioned ones.
All right. Hey, coming up next, let's do some scenarios. And, somebody wants to ask a question about Seattle. Gee and Ursula.
Newly elected Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson goes one-on-one with John Curley in a KIRO Newsradio exclusive.
This thing's now swirled up. Now National News has picked this up, talking about the police arresting people that are openly doing drugs.
I think this whole episode has taught me about the power of a rumor. The policy remains what it has been, which is we have an ordinance in Seattle around drug use and possession.
Watch the full interview and subscribe to KIRO Newsradio on YouTube.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Veterans, the new year's a good time to re-examine finances. If you're struggling with bills, VA loan expert Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says he may have a solution.
Many veterans are sitting on a lot of home equity, and even with a low mortgage rate, your total monthly payments may be a struggle. The good news is with today's lower VA loan rates, you can do a VA cash-out refinance and pay off your high-interest rate debt and roll everything into one low monthly payment. For example, one VA client saved more than $1,200 per month. And remember, with a VA loan, you can buy a home with no money down.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. Whether you're a veteran or seeking a conventional loan, you'll talk directly to me or an experienced senior advisor, never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust. From Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. 425-649-6000.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. Last year, the big news, obviously, was the accomplishment of the big, beautiful bill, but that also comes with some big, beautiful changes to the IRS.
There are some big, beautiful changes going on, and so many of those changes in the big, beautiful bill impact 2025. There's definitely some big spiffs in there for the ordinary working person. One thing that I'm really disappointed in is the way that things have been communicated in regards to the Social Security. It is still going to be taxed. It's not like it's not going to be taxed, but it will be, for most people, a reduction in the amount of tax.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
For a long time, I thought retirement planning was mostly about hitting a number. Get there, and then life starts. Hi, this is Ursula Reutin. What Trajan Wealth helped me see is that the number is really only part of the story. At Trajan Wealth, their advisors are fiduciaries, which means they're obligated to put your needs first, and they start by asking how you actually want your life to feel. When Mark and I sat down with them, we talked about having more time with family, more time to travel, and how to make thoughtful choices without feeling like we had to put today on hold for tomorrow. I have goals for today and for when I retire. If you're ready to start the new year with straight talk and thoughtful guidance, call Trajan Wealth today and schedule a free meeting. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300 or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Wednesday. Grateful that you guys are hanging out with us. And ooh-wee, manners? Well, maybe we should talk about this more often because...
That lit the text line up.
I mean, and there was a one that says, it was Kirk in Mount Vernon. Says, all I can say is, hey, younger parents, please listen to me on this. You only get one bite at the apple for raising your kids the right way after net window closes. You're just along for the ride.
That's terrifying. Thanks, Kirk.
I will say this. A lot of what my opinion, a lot of what you're going to instill in your kids is before the age of 18. I'd argue that it probably happens around 16 when they start driving and going to hang out with their friends. A lot of that teaching happens in. All right, scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
This is going to be really short and simple, but I've lived in this city long enough to notice something. Folks in Seattle and in the Seattle area, they love ideas, but they struggle with execution. It feels like we're big on values until those values require consistency or maybe confrontation or consequences. It's not just a political problem. I think Seattle, in general, has a follow-through problem. One big area, you get with a friend and they're like, hey, let's get together sometime. And 10 years later, you're still talking about you need to get together. I don't need you guys to solve this problem for me, but I just want to know if you guys see that Seattle has a follow-through problem. 888, I even forgot the number, 888-976-5476, 973-5476. This threw me off because I was not expecting this. Chef.
I feel called out, honestly. Like, is this really only a Seattle thing? In dead straight, I do not like seeing someone I haven't seen for a long time, and at the end of every single conversation, it's, we should hang out sometime. I just want to tell those people, no, we shouldn't, because it's not going to happen. People don't follow through, but it extends to work, right? Also, if you ask someone for something, or there's a task that's going to be done, in my mind, I assume that I'm going to have to follow up at least twice if I want something to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's just a regional thing, is it? Because like I've been a boss and I've had, employees outside of this area, and that's relatively normal. The social thing, though, I think that might be uniquely Seattle, or maybe just uniquely younger people.
Well, I'll break this up into two ways. One, the consistency thing, I think, is a problem nationwide. But here's why I believe that Seattle, this area, Pacific Northwest, has the worst part of consistency because it does connect with social. Social is everything. Hey, you know what? We should get together and we should go out to dinner and meet up. In the Midwest, it's, oh yeah, that sounds good. When you want to do it? Let's get it together. Here, it feels like it's just something to say. It's not as bad as LA. LA is really bad. I mean, it's not just passive aggressive. It's just flat out phony. Now, here in the Pacific Northwest, yes, the passive aggressiveness. We talk about the Seattle freeze, but there's so many folks that are just, it is so hard to do the same thing over and over again. And maybe you listening. Maybe you've gotten to the point where you're like, hey, you know what? I had to work on my consistency thing. And you know what? So did I. As a matter of fact, it's gotten to the point for me in my life. And again, I know I tell you guys that I don't plan and no, that's not true. Literally, and my wife will tell you, my days are the same. On Monday through Friday, it's the same. It's like clockwork every single day. Why? Because I'm a disaster if I'm not having some type of structure and some consistency. Some people, is not that they don't have the talent, they don't have the structure. And because they don't have the structure, then the talent is never seen. And so maybe they might not get accommodated for those things. So I'll just kind of keep it simple. I do think this place, Seattle, the passive aggressiveness, the non-committal, the follow-through, it's really bad in this town. And Nick, as a young man and a young soul, I got to give you credit, man. You got an old soul. What do you got?
Well, I think ideas are great around here, and some of them can be great for the betterment of the community, but as long as it's not acted upon, listen, it's going to be stuck in a hotel room called your head, and it's only up to you and the people who think of these ideas to roll up their sleeves and let everyone see the fruits of your labor. Getting started is the hardest part, and I think sometimes it's an obstacle people just can't overcome. But I'm here to tell you, you got you got the motivation from me, and you only got one life in this world, so just take it, act, and do it.
I gotta say, probably, my wife and I, we're very, we're different. I'm the louder one. She's more quiet. If there's one thing that she and I connect, we are lockstep on one thing. If we say that we're going to do something, lock it in.
Yeah.
You can lock it in. So, for example, if today is January 7th and my wife or I says, hey, on February 10th, we're going to be at this place at 3:00 p.m. We'll see you there. We're going to be there. And for me, and I can't speak for my wife is better than me. For me, I am no longer connecting with people who can't keep their word. Why am I going to continue to be frustrated with you? That's not your fault. That's my fault.
Oh, wow. That's a very generous way of looking at it.
It's not your fault. It's my fault. I'm the one. I'm expecting you to change. No. Good stuff, everybody. We got a lot going on at 11 o'clock hour, including Agree to Disagree, and we'll see some of these top stories back at 11. Gee Ursula.
And so we are set.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle.
Seattle is going to win this football game. A single-season franchise record of 14 wins. The fourth number one seed in franchise history.
Reaction.
Just incredibly proud of them.
Conversation.
The road to the Super Bowl runs through Seattle.
Complete coverage at mynorthwest.com. And the home of the Seahawks. KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO News Radio app.
Drill, baby, drill. If you're an SEC accredited investor looking for one of the most powerful tax advantages available in 2026, now is the time to take a serious look at Encore Energy. Under current federal guidelines, accredited investors may be able to deduct up to 100% of their investment in 2026. And for many investors, that level of tax relief is simply too valuable to ignore. Encore Energy offers operator direct participation in U.S. horizontal oil drilling in areas with a long record of success, including more than 100 producing wells already drilled. These are established fields with existing infrastructure and proven and ongoing production potential. For investors with 100K seeking aggressive tax strategy, portfolio diversification, and a way to participate directly in American energy development, call Encore Energy to get details now. These programs involve significant risk and aren't suitable for everyone. Call 1-800-544-1221. That's 1-800-544-1221. Again, 1-800-544-1221. Encore Energy, where smart investors act before the window closes. Encore Energy at 1-800-544-1221.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Gee and Ursula on KIRO News Radio.
You're not going to be able to stop what's going to happen.
I hope he's successful.
9 to noon, streaming live on your smart speaker.
John Curley here. As humans, we value things that last. Local businesses, long-term relationships, people who have been in the community for years. That's Madrona Financial and CPAs. For decades, they've been serving Washingtonians, and what makes them different? They combine taxes and investments under one roof. Most firms do one or the other, but not both. Taxes are often your biggest retirement expense, bigger than travel or healthcare. Yet most never get a clear look at how taxes and investments fit together. That's why Madrona offers the Madrona Analysis. It's an easy to understand review of your retirement picture, income, taxes, investments, all working together in one coordinated plan. Best of all, it's conversational. You'll talk with someone who explains it all in plain English. Discover hidden tax traps, see if your portfolio matches income needs, and learn steps to retire with confidence. questions. Call 833-673-7373 for your complimentary Madrona analysis. Madrona Financial and CPAs, local, trusted, and here to put the whole picture together.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But when you can't work, care for your kids, or even put food on the table, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to support Northwest Hope and Healing. Our mission is to provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. For more than 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help make a difference in our community. Join us on Saturday, January 31st, for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, gourmet cuisine, and inspiration at Mary Hill Winery in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A deadly ice-related shooting in a South Minneapolis neighborhood. CBS News Minneapolis reporter Adam Duxter says, according to witnesses, ICE agents shot into the window of an SUV that was trying to drive away.
They saw a person taken out of that vehicle. They saw paramedics attempting CPR on that person. We were told at one point that there could have been an issue getting paramedics or an ambulance into that person to provide help for them. And eventually that person was carried away from this scene.
A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson confirms that an ICE agent officer fatally shot a woman. They say she tried to use her vehicle as a weapon by trying to run into the officer. Minneapolis Democratic Mayor Jacob Fry says of the agents,
they are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust.
The U.S. seizes 2 oil tankers linked to Venezuela. CBS's James Laporta.
Not only have they seized the Bella 1 in U.S. European Command, another ship, the Sophia, was seized in U.S. Southern Command.
The White House says that the oil tanker seized in the North Atlantic, which had claimed to be Russian-flagged, had been deemed stateless after flying a false flag. The U.S. removal of Venezuela's president has left many questions about the government of that country and its oil. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the U.S. is overseeing operations.
The Trump administration, led by Secretary Rubio, the vice president, and the president's entire national security team, is in close correspondence with the interim authorities in Venezuela.
In addition, Leavitt says the U.S. is taking millions of barrels of sanctioned oil out of Venezuela.
This was a deal made by the president and his team with the Venezuelan interim authorities. This will benefit both the American people and the Venezuelan people.
Saying the sale will revive the safety, security, and prosperity of both nations. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The food pyramid gets a makeover. CBS's Stacey Lynn reports the Trump administration has released new dietary guidelines.
While the new guidelines are similar to what they've always been, there are a few big changes. Red meat, cheese, and whole milk are now near the top. And Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recommends we cook with butter and beef tallow, even though scientific evidence does not support that.
A judge has delayed until February 23rd Nick Reiner's arraignment in the killing of his parents, Rob and Michelle. His high-profile attorney has asked to be replaced by a public defender, and the judge has agreed to attorney Alan Jackson's request. Jackson did not say why he wanted to leave the case. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Plenty of snow, but no skiing at one resort. The power is out. Details coming up at first. KIRO News Radio traffic. A disabled vehicle's blocking a lane on the 520 bridge eastbound, but it's not really causing much of a backup. And overall, your travel times are excellent. Efford to Seattle, 26 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 21. Renton to Bellevue, 19. Snoqualmie Pass, mostly bare and wet on the roadway. Traction tires are advised. Stevens Pass, compact snow and ice, chains for everybody except if you have all-wheel drive. White Pass, snow and ice, traction tires required, and truckers, chain up. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. It's not what powder hounds want to hear. Even though a winter storm is dumping up to 4 feet of snow by tomorrow afternoon in the mountains, there will be no skiing or snowboarding at Stevens Pass. The resort says the power is out, not expected to be restored until 6 tonight. They do plan to give an update this afternoon. The winter storm is making it a tough go for drivers in the mountain passes. KIRO 7 TV's Allison Amoy checked out Snoqualmie Pass.
Signs for change required had many pulling over, including a long line of semi-trucks.
Kind of a pain in the really. I've been here a half hour now trying to do this, and it's just not cooperating.
WashDOT says it's ready to swarm the storm,
effectively getting the snow off the roadway
by plowing and de-icing.
Eastbound I-90 closed for about 2 hours yesterday from North Bend to the Summit because of multiple crashes. Kitsap County deputies say a driver led them on a chase with speeds up to 100 miles an hour before he lost control of the car while making a turn and slammed into the front of a smoke shop in Poulsbo. He was arrested for DUI. Seattle police are investigating after 2 people were stabbed during a robbery at Freeway Park in the downtown area. Both were taken to a hospital, but the extent of their injuries has not been released. The search is on for burglars who hit the Meeples game store in West Seattle. More from KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
Feel very violated.
Laura Schneider, who co-owns the store with her son Garrett, says she got a call from her security company as alarms went off.
I was watching it in real time.
Seconds later, he's stuffing merchandise into a big bag.
They're after Magic the Gathering and Pokemon cards.
Owners say the thieves either ruined or stole around $3,000 of merchandise, and they were long gone before police arrived.
The Seattle City Council elects a new president.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Council President Joy Hollingsworth.
District 3 Council Member Joy Hollingsworth was nominated by Council Member Dan Strauss and elected by a unanimous vote. Hollingsworth is a 4th-generation Seattleite and will serve as president from 2026 to 27. KIRO News Radio weather, rain today with highs in the low 40s. It's 42 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Happy New Year, happy Wednesday, and happy whatever you want to be happy in your life. You know why I'm here. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning to you. Ursula is out today, but don't worry. We're going to be hanging out with us. We do miss Ursula, no doubt. Chef is here. Nick is here. And we got a lot going on. We got coming up. We got Agree to Disagree. That'll be happening. And before we get started with our news here, I couldn't figure something out in the break. As a matter of fact, about 2 breaks ago, my cell phone, sometimes I'll admit, technology, I'm not the best with it. But for some reason, my algorithm, I kept saying to myself, why in the world do I keep getting the mayor of Seattle content that's in my face? It was weird. I'm like, why do I keep getting that? And then just now I realized something in the break.
You work in the news?
No.
Oh, what?
That I was following the mayor of Seattle, and then they have changed now. Like, she now has that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I unfollow. Hey, let's get to it right now.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
A federal judge right now says Amazon will have to face price gouging lawsuit tied to the COVID pandemic. And here in a minute, Chef is getting ready to talk about some things, and I don't know if his wife is going to be happy if he talks about it in front of everybody. But check this out. This lawsuit filed by consumers here in Washington State accuses Amazon of allowing third-party sellers, and in some cases, Amazon itself, to dramatically inflate prices on food, household staples, and medical supplies during the pandemic when customers had few alternatives. The complaint cites eye-popping examples. Let's go through them. Pain relievers were up 233%. By the way, I find it interesting because we know why pain relievers were most likely purchased during that time, because some folks had a fever. That was probably one. The next one, see if you're shocked by this. Toilet paper. I wonder what was going on with toilet paper back then. It was up 1,044%. The next one, baking soda. Baking soda. Up 1,523%. Nick, was that good?
Oh, yeah.
I got baking soda.
I got that reference.
Yeah. And then face mask rising as much as 1,800%. Plaintiffs say Amazon failed to stop sellers from charging what they called flagrantly unlawful prices, and in some cases, inflated prices on its own inventory to profit from consumers during a public health emergency. Now, I want to know from you that's listening right now, 888-973-5476, when you hear of a lawsuit pertaining to an Amazon is connected and involved, do you have conversations about canceling Amazon, or do you just go along like I do in it's business as usual? I would love to hear what you think about that. It will help us with this discussion. Now, our famous producer, Chef, says that something is happening within his household. And so, Chef, I would love for you to explain what's happening.
Yeah, so we're trying to save more money this year. And so my wife and I decided that we're getting rid of Amazon, or our Prime subscription at least, starting this month. Mostly from just a money perspective, but there is also some hey, I'm not comfortable with a lot of the things that Amazon has done, how dominant they've become, all the different avenues that they're getting into. But I don't know if I can not have Amazon, because it is so entrenched in my life. If I need something, I'm used to being able to get it delivered and not have to make individual trips to the store. And I don't know if you've been to the drugstore recently, but the prices on stuff at physical stores a lot of times are way, way higher than they are, online. And I don't know if the kids can do it either, because they do the streaming. So it's gonna be a tough experiment. But I've thought about canceling Amazon before, G, because of, I guess, the moral reasons. But I guess I assume that big companies can do whatever they want, and whatever consequences they face in terms of lawsuits are just a part of doing business. Do you believe that there's any kind of justice for giant companies in this country, or does that just not exist?
No, I think a lot of these companies are just way too big to fail. That's number one. And number two, you have people like me at one point in time in life where I used to lie. You want to know the biggest lie I used to tell is not admitting that I shopped at Walmart. And guess what, everybody? I had to shop at Walmart. Yeah. I really needed to. I would love to tell you, for moral reasons and what Walmart is doing. And most people, a lot of people in America ain't got time for that, because what we are trying to do is do what's best. So I would say this, Chef. I think that most people are just trying to make it. That's first and foremost. And if they feel that Amazon costs them more money, they won't use it. If they feel that Amazon brings them relief in their life, they use it. When I think of shopping Amazon today, I don't really think about the deals per se. I think about the execution and the timing. Example, I'm sitting at my desk and I just realized, oh man, you know what? I wanted to pick my beard, and I don't have a pick here at my desk.
Yeah.
So instead of, when I leave work today, I'm going to go to the store.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, guess what I'm going to do? Forget.
Exactly.
So what I do right there at the desk, I order the pick right there. And guess what? When I come home, it's right there at my door. I'm like, oh, there it is. Boom, put it in my bag. So I think a lot of times where I understand the price gouging is not good, but for the most part, it's about convenience. What can make my life easier?
You're totally right. So part of how we hope to save money is by not buying the pick, because there's a lot of things that I think we can do without that we purchase on Amazon simply because of the convenience of it. Okay. I can grab that.
Okay.
But when it comes to people trying to get by, you are 100% right. We don't have time anymore. Like, voting with your pocketbook is a privilege in a lot of ways. If I have a moral issue with Amazon, that is going to probably cost me 4 hours a month of additional time going to the different stores for things that I need.
Yeah.
If I decide that I only want to eat organic food, that's going to cost me a lot of money. If I say I don't want to shop at Walmart because, of the way that they pay their employees across the nation, that's going to cost me money. And who has the time to actually shop around for things anymore? 40 years ago, an 18-year-old could graduate high school, walk out the door, get a job, buy a house, buy a car. His wife could stay home, and they would have no problem. She could go shopping every single day if she wanted to. We don't have time.
Yeah. Well, the text messages are starting to roll in. And before I move off this topic, I do want to take this time to bring up some points that folks are texting in. And Melinda in Bellevue, thank you for this text, because you make a very good point here. You said, speaking of prices higher in stores, I love bookstores. As a matter of fact, I bought a paperback at Barnes & Noble for $19.70. That same book at Amazon was $8.25. And by the way, I am also a frequent buyer of books. The audiobooks is what I listen to every day when I work out at the gym. And yes, my books are less on Amazon. Layla texts in and says, shopping from Amazon is kind of saving too. You don't go to the store to see other stuff to buy, and you're saving on all your gas and not driving your car. Stop right there. Full timeout right there, Layla. Oh, they call that rehash items at the store. So you go to the store, and let's say we'll stay along that line with the pick.
Impulse purchases.
You get that pick, and then you get ready in the line right there. You're there. What's right there? The gum, the Tic Tacs, and all that stuff. And then your kid's like, Mom, Dad, can I have some candy? Can I have this? So you go to the store to buy this. But you go to the store and you end up buying this and that. So to Layla's point, you do kind of save. Because, here's my question. Are you an impulse buyer? Because I'm not. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do a sweeping statement so I can spice up the show a little bit. That's you ladies out there. You ladies are impulse buyers. That's why it takes you so long to go shopping. You see, we fellas, when we get ready to go to the store, we go to the store. We are in and out. Hey, fellas, am I right? We know exactly what we're going to go get. I'm going to get a toothpaste. I'm going to get a toothbrush, and that's it. I'm in and out. You guys are, well, what about this and what about that? So anyway,
no,
I gotta
completely disagree. Okay, because it's about the type of store. So if I'm at the grocery store, I will impulse buy food. I'm like, oh, hey, look at the nice cheese. I better get some of that. But if I'm going out shopping for clothes, I'm not impulse buying anything. My wife will impulse buy all kinds of stuff if she's, at Fred Meyer or Target or something like that buying clothes. If I'm at the hardware store, oh, you know what? I probably need more duct tape. I probably need more painter's tape. You know what? How about those drill bits over there? I don't have that kind of drill bit. I need that. So I think impulse buys happen for men and women in different places.
So Layla wins with the point of impulse buying and how when you are very specific and targeted with your Amazon purchase, actually it's a savings. All right, let's move on to another one right here. We got a lot of response on the manners and etiquette. So let's extend that conversation like this. Are our manners in public getting out of control? Slate writes that grocery store etiquette, oh my goodness, grocery store etiquette is quietly breaking down. Shoppers are increasingly annoyed by things that used to go unspoken. Whew. Sorry, I'm getting triggered by this. Blocking the aisles, FaceTiming loudly, abandoning carts, tasting grapes before you buy them. Hold up. Now, that's wrong. Let me get a couple grapes real quick.
I'm okay with the grapes.
Let me get a couple grapes. Now, if you are somebody that's in that parking lot, and I'm telling you, if you're in that parking lot and you don't take that cart and put it back in the little cart return place or bring it back into the store, that's rude. And to this point, there's a lot of grocery store etiquette that's not happening. Now, you can't just block the aisle. Why are you doing that? And then the worst, and by the way, if you work in a grocery store, tell me how annoying it can be when the person comes to check out and they're on their phones and they're having that conversation and the line is being held up and boop, boop, boop. And then they go to, that was on sale. Well, you know what? This would go a lot faster and more efficient if you get off your dang own phone. So I want to ask you, listening right now, how are you with your grocery store etiquette? Are you pretty good? Oh, what's going on with that? So, Robin Puyallup says, G, you are off base. I like that. I go shopping for specific items, and then I will add on impulse buys. I don't just go shopping to look. Nick, how's your etiquette with shopping, man? How you doing, bro?
Overall, it's pretty good. I mean, sometimes you're in a rush, and you want to, give the cart to somebody else if you can. But, sometimes you just leave it where it is. That was in my younger days, but I try and put it back where it is. But overall, I'm not really doing much of the, impulsive shopping, like trying to find something. I usually have a list of what I want to get. Sometimes I'll go to the deli section. I'll find what they have on discount on deals. But, I'm watching other people, seeing them do the things that you're talking about, like trying out the fruit and all that stuff. But, yeah, I'm on my good manners.
Okay, real quick. Now, first of all, Chef, it is never a good idea to go shopping hungry.
Yeah.
Same way.
Unavoidable sometimes.
That's when the impulsive buys come in.
Right. Yes. Like that's not a good idea. By the way, I'll raise my hand. I'm the worst when I go shopping hungry. I get the most random stuff. Okay, yeah. I'll admit that impulse buy. But my question is, I want to know if this is okay. Sometimes I will, there's these at Safeway Albertsons, they have the little salmon nuggets, and I don't know if you guys know about that in the deli. Oh my gosh, they're like $20-something a pound, but they usually have them with little tray, little trays or whatever. And so sometimes I'll go and get that. Is it okay if I eat the whole thing, and then as long as when I get to the checkout, the plastic gets? Are you guys good with that? Am I good?
Yeah, totally. I'm 100% good with that.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Especially because, I got kids, right? And so sometimes you go to the store with your kids, they're hungry, they're thirsty or whatever. You don't have anything with you, and it's like, all right, go ahead and drink that. Okay. We'll just make sure to pay for it. Sometimes the problem is a lot of people, I think, sometimes forget, or the thing goes in their purse. And then they don't end up paying for it.
Yeah.
I got a question. There's a fine line with that because it relies a lot on the honor system. And on the other side of people doing the bad thing, I will see packages that have been opened and they put them back on the shelf. And, that's wrong.
I tell you right now, you want to know why I ain't got struck by lightning in my life? Because I believe in karma. Because I feel like if I eat something and just take it out of the package and eat it and put it off to the side, they gonna say, "Hey, what happened to G. Scott? Oh, he got struck by lightning. Oh, he must have took some food from the store."
By the way, you know who really needs to get struck by lightning?
Who's that?
The person who takes the package of steak or salmon or something like shrimp like that.
Yeah.
And then they leave it in the toilet paper aisle. completely unrefrigerated.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you
does
decide
that?
later that you don't want it, so you just put it back conveniently.
Yeah,
there.
I'll just leave this
cool.
anyway.
That's not cool. Hey, shout out to Christy in Buckley. Christy in Buckley says, hey, regarding taking grocery carts back, I'm handicapped, and usually the cart return areas are pretty far away. So it's not because I'm being rude. Hey, Christy, you get a pass. You get a pass there. But I want to address something really quick. And I just want to tell you guys, here pretty soon, the Gee and Ursula Show, we're coming up on 6 years. And one of the things that I thought a lot about during my break is I thought about the topics that we talk about here on this show, the way that we curate this show, Chef and Ursula and myself and everything. And I just want you guys to know, like, sometimes there's a lot of heavy news out there. And sometimes you come to the show, and of course, at the top and the bottom of the hour, Heather Bosch will make sure she addresses some news. But sometimes a lot of us, look, we're just trying to get through the day. We're trying to just get through it. We make sure you hear all the important news. We'll cover that. But I just want you all to know that the Gee and Ursula Show wants to try to do a better job in, yes, information, informing you, but more important, entertaining and connecting, right? And connecting is the biggest thing. And when I say connecting, that includes everybody. Your politics and who you voted for. I think there's just been way too much of alienation of you on that side and the labels part of things. So thank you for being a part of the Gee and Ursula Show. So coming up next, we do Agree to Disagree. Gee and Ursula.
After voters made it clear they want change,
that I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the city of Seattle.
what should Seattle residents expect from Mayor Katie Wilson?
She talked a lot about our affordability crisis.
Northwest News voices you depend on.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem. You believe government can solve this problem.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. The KIRO News Radio app with opinion and analysis at mynorthwest.com.
Progressive's accident response can detect and send help when you need it most, after a major car accident. But other accidents, you're on your own. Like when you accidentally call your wife Mom. When you accidentally say Happy Holidays on someone's birthday. When you accidentally wave at someone you thought was waving at you. We can't help with those accidents, but Progressive's accident response provides peace of mind after major car accidents. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Gee and Ursula, weekdays from 9 to noon on KIRO News Radio.
I'm worried.
About what?
Water.
Oh?
Hot water, if you really want to know.
Water heater worries?
Worried it's wearing down.
Running out?
The hot doesn't last like it used to.
So you're...
worried.
I got a guaranteed fix.
Let me guess. A new water heater.
Right, but...
that's what worries me.
Well, worry no more.
Why?
What you need is an Apollo Plumbing water heater.
Because?
We include Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Wrenchy's what?
Worry-free warranty.
Which means?
When it wears out, we replace it.
No extra charge.
As an A-List Club member, you're covered for life.
For life?
For as long as you're an A-List member. You get annual life-extending water heater flushes included.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
And when it needs replacement,
you're covered.
With no worries.
Because it's Wrenchy's
worry-free warranty.
What else would you expect from the Ready Right Now plumbers?
Apollo Plumbing.
Home of Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
What about tankless ones?
Worry-free too.
Gotta love that Wrenchy.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready to kick off 2026 on a healthier path? Our New Year, New You event has everything you need, from saltwater hot tubs to rejuvenating saunas and cold plunges, or staying active with a swim spa. We've got the perfect way to help you feel your best. Enjoy special savings on our entire wellness lineup now through January 11th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Guys, feeling low energy or low drive? It could be low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health, start with a free T-check and consultation. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off TRT. Book now at ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
CBS News special report. An ICE agent shoots and kills a woman in Minneapolis after an alleged car ramming incident during an immigration operation. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
We collectively are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full.
A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson says, quote, one of these violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them. CBS News Minneapolis reporter Anna Duxter is at the scene.
The person who was killed today is a community member, someone who was here, they say, to protest the federal enforcement that we're seeing right now in the city of Minneapolis.
This resident finds it an emotional scene.
I actually just live in the neighborhood. I was notified that something was going on. This is where I live. I care. So I just came out to show support.
CBS News special report. I'm Jennifer Kuiper.
And I'm Heather Bosch. Washington State makes a 7.5 million ton mistake about the Climate Commitment Act. The Washington State Commerce Department originally said that a CCA-funded program to convert homes from fossil fuels to electric power would reduce 7.5 million metric tons of greenhouse gases, but it won't. It'll only reduce 78,000 tons of emissions. The Commerce Department has issued a correction. Alaska Airlines announces its largest fleet order ever, and they're buying Boeing. 105 of the 737-10 MAX planes made an effort, and 5 of the 787 wide-bodies. Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg says the company's been working closely with Alaska Airlines since a door plug blew off a 737 MAX 9 2 years ago.
We've listened to you. You've given us good ideas, and I hope that we can continue that benchmarking as we continue to always look for improvements in the safety and quality of our processes.
The MAX 10 is not yet certified by the FAA. Construction employment is a mixed bag nationwide, and Washington is feeling the pinch. New federal data show 32 states and D.C. added construction jobs over the past year, but Washington lost more than 10,700 positions. That's a drop of nearly 5% and one of the steepest declines in the country. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 293 points. NASDAQ is up 100. KIRO News Radio traffic. Here's Nate Connors.
Hey, thanks, Heather. South 5 heading into Seattle. We're getting a little crowded between Northgate and the Ship Canal Bridge. You're still close to freeway speeds here, but one little fender bender will jam this up for everyone. Linwood to Seattle is just a 20-minute trip. Otherwise, we're looking good on all of our major roadways, so let's turn our attention quickly to our passes. Stevens, chains are required on all vehicles except all-wheel drive. Snoqualmie, traction tires advised. White Pass, traction tires required. Chains on all vehicles, 10,000 gross vehicle weight and over. And Blewett Pass, traction tires advised. Oversized vehicles are still prohibited across all 4 passes. We do have a 1-hour wait for drivers at the Mukilteo Ferry Terminal. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio weather. Rain today with highs in the low 40s. It's 42 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning to you all. Ursula is out today. Don't worry, we're hanging out. We miss Ursula, but we're having a good time relaxing. But let's get to it. Agree to disagree. Brought to you by...
These days, we just got to take off our gloves. Just really go at it.
Sorry. Yeah. Jumping the gun.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
Is it still Guardian in them?
Yeah, Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
Okay.
They are the sponsor.
All right, cool.
Okay, so in yesterday's Athletic, they made a case that there's an 18-year-old from Great Britain who they say is the greatest athlete in the world.
Okay.
And his name is Luke Littler. His sport is darts. And gee, I had to blink my eyes at that because I don't know if I've heard darts referred to as a sport. Do you think darts is a sport?
Well, first, I want to know, is this a serious question?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
It's not a sport. Since we're on this topic, there's just a few things that I don't think is a sport. I don't think darts are a sport. I don't think cornhole is a sport. If anything,
golf?
That's a sport. That's a sport because you're walking up and down that fairway and with that bag and you.
What are you talking about? Half the people get golf carts.
When it's a sport, you don't have golf courts. You know what I mean? When you're competing in college or the pros, and when you watch the Masters, they're not riding carts. You have to walk it. So that's my point. Yeah, you can leisurely do golf by getting in the carts. So darts, I don't think is a sport. Do I think NASCAR? Do I think that's a sport? Absolutely. Do think that's a sport.
That's very physical.
But again, we're digging into a topic and having this conversation. Max in the 425 says, if you can drink beer and play, then it's not a sport.
Can you drink beer and play golf?
Not well. I mean, you can.
Sure, you can. I mean, you don't have to play something at an elite level for it to be a sport.
Which one are you, I'm talking about when I think of a sport, right? Like, for example, you playing basketball at LA Fitness, okay, that's great, but you're not competing like that. I'm talking about a sport being where, okay, you're competing at a high level, right? You can't, I would assume you're probably not going to be drinking. But then again, I take that back because
John Daly.
There's a John Daly's, and then there's football players of the past, Lawrence Taylor's, and there's baseball players of the past.
Oh, my gosh.
Lenny
Lenny
Dykstra. By the way, Lenny Dykstra just got popped recently. He's 62 years old. Bruh, why are you still getting popped with drugs at 62?
Seriously.
Don't chill. Get off that. But anyways, let's don't do that. Let's just stick it to darts. Darts is not a sport to me. Bobby in Tacoma says darts meets all the criteria of a sport, but it's also a bar game.
Sure. I mean, it requires elite physical skill, right? And hand-eye coordination.
You're right.
Do you think shooting is a sport? Archery?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I was thinking something similar to that, too. Fishing? Is that a sport?
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, you got to be able to balance on the end of that bass boat or whatever.
You know what you got? Here's where you guys are catching me. I can't stand darts.
Really?
I can't stand it. And
Why?
I think that's where I'm getting, I don't know. I've never liked it. Matter of fact, my buddy just told me that he's getting ready to start taking up darts. He's going to be in the dart league. Wouldn't even know if I wanted to do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. So, you know what? I tell you what, Nick, I have no problem admitting things. I think you got me with that.
I consider it more professional competition. I think a sport is much more physical. There's a lot more muscle memory involved.
Yeah.
These games, there's I think a huger, bigger factor of luck, what kind of fish are in the water kind of thing.
Yeah.
Bigger topic too is professional gaming a sport. Guys who play video games for a living, who get paid to win competitions via, PlayStation and Xbox, playing Madden and all those games.
See, I figured that was going to come up. And that's where I'm guilty because I think that it is.
Not very physical.
I think people fall into two categories. They either fall into the category of anything that requires an elite level of skill and has measurable competitive standards as a sport. And then there's the other category of people who say, if you can look like I do right now and have the body that I do and play it, it's definitely not a sport, right? Because you could be 300 pounds and be an esport athlete, quote unquote.
What else got next?
All right. I want to move on into a little more of an etiquette conversation. I saw this come up on NBC actually, and whether it's rude to leave events early. So let's say you're in a workout class or you're at church. Is it rude to leave early?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, it is. Especially you know. Now, look, if you have to, you have to. But if you can stay till it's over, and I know we all have done that before, where you're in a situation you're like, hey, I'm really got to go, but there's about 10 more minutes left, right? It's got to be done because the next service is going to happen, but you're just like, hey, I'm just ready to go, and you don't have anything to do, then yes, it is rude to do that.
I don't think so.
Another thing, sports. Football games, basketball games, let's just say, or baseball. In baseball, actually, the ushers up there, they actually kind of hold you back from going down until the next at bat and everything like that. But let's just say it's third down. It's third down. You got to use the restroom, right? And then you're in the middle of the row and you want to get ready to go out. So you go, excuse me. If it's third down and you have to use the restroom, can you hold tight at least until you figure out what's going to happen? So if the team gets the first down, okay, get up and go.
Yeah.
If the team's getting ready to punt, okay, cool. But don't get up at third down. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's rude, especially in football because there's 14 minutes of actual play in the 3 hours that it takes. So there's plenty of time to find that space.
Yeah.
But that's why I always get an aisle seat. Like if I'm at church, if I'm at a play, I get the aisle seat because I will straight bounce if I want to. I don't think that's rude at all.
I just want to say this, and I'm going to admit this. I don't know what it is, but I am finding myself in situations falling asleep when I can. And I've yet to fall asleep at a football game. I haven't done that.
Where have you fallen asleep?
Man, first of all, movies is a wrap. For sure.
At the theater?
Oh, yeah. That ain't nothing but a nap.
Do you snore?
No, I hope not. I don't know. I'll fall asleep at a graduation. I probably won't fall asleep at a wedding. I don't think that'll happen. But hey, man, text in right now. Am I the only one? Any of you guys been dozing off in some situations? Oh.
Are you turning 50 this year? Is
that
why?
You know it.
Getting dozy?
Have you guys dozed off at a concert lately? All right. Coming up next, we're not doing text messages, so we got some other topics. You stick around. Gee and Ursula.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan. Presented by Carter Subaru.
Well, it's a new year, and I guess that means it's time for a new interchange. And it's something that might make it a little easier for you to get to the beach during the summer. I'll give you all the details in Choke Points tomorrow morning on KIRO News Radio.
Get all of Sully's Choke Points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
For a long time, I thought retirement planning was mostly about hitting a number. Get there, and then life starts. Hi, this is Ursula Reutin. What Trajan Wealth helped me see is that the number is really only part of the story. At Trajan Wealth, their advisors are fiduciaries, which means they're obligated to put your needs first, and they start by asking how you actually want your life to feel. When Mark and I sat down with them, we talked about having more time with family, more time to travel, and how to make thoughtful choices without feeling like we had to put today on hold for tomorrow. I have goals for today and for when I retire. If you're ready to start the new year with straight talk and thoughtful guidance, call Trajan Wealth today and schedule a free meeting. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300, or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Hewitt here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got 3 options. Number 1, sell your home. 2, get a HELOC or refinance. Or 3, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled Tila, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046. Gold, platinum, and Grammy-winning trumpeter Chris Bodie crossed over from jazz to pop stardom. Now he's crossing back. Hear his return to acoustic jazz and classic standards live at Jazz Alley, January 14th through 18th. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning to all of you. Grateful that you're hanging out with us today. We do have one more topic that is going to be on the show. Young people, any people. Matter of fact, right now, if you're listening, did you meet your significant other on the dating app? Just curious. But right now, young people are getting sick of dating apps. And guess what they're doing? They're turning to an alternative. I wonder if Nick's going to like this. So check this out. Right now, they're lacing up running shoes and joining run clubs as a way to meet other singles. Now, hold up.
For real?
Hold up. This is true. I have been seeing run clubs pop up. As a matter of fact, I know somebody that runs a run club. And, oh, man, this is a little different, but it does make sense. I would argue that things like this, a run club, a walk club, or some type of, I think this is better than the whole dating apps. Because the dating apps, isn't it the, hey, let's meet for coffee, and they go to coffee, and the coffee, if it goes right, let's do this again, and then it's just, at least the run club, you're in your element, they're able to bring their friends, you're maybe with their friends, or maybe you're solo, but it's not awkward. You're actually feeling better about being in your element. Not everyone is a good interviewer or interviewee. Not everyone is a great test taker. Sometimes, Chef and Nick, it might be good. Now, Nick, you're the single one. Chef, you're not single. Nick, you single.
I like the idea of it all, but I wouldn't necessarily call it an opportunity for dating. Like running, for example, it's kind of hard to have that, how are you? They're like running the whole time. So it's not necessarily the ideal activity, but I love a club with the common interest of, some sort of sport or activity, like a softball club, for example. That's a great way to, get to know a lady that maybe you're interested in. But with running, I think it's a good way to create friends in that social network. But it's hard to be romantic about it.
Hell no.
That kind of running.
Hell no. Like, who looks good when they're running? Like a sweaty mess. And by the way, are you just trying to filter for like fitness level? Is that what your goal is?
Maybe that breaks the ice a little bit. I don't know.
Actually, hey, Julie B, I'm with you. Some settings, you got to figure out where you're your best, right? Julie B says, I would never join a running club because I can't run. Now, check this out. And I'm asking because I don't know. Hey, ladies, did you meet up? The running club, right? It's the beginning, and you guys are all there, and you're kind of stretching and stuff like that, and you see this guy, and you're like, oh, wow, he's cute. Okay. And then you see him go to stretch, and you're like, oh, I don't know about his stretching. And then let's just say it's time to run. and you kind of like, hey, I'm going to kind of slow up a little bit because I want to maybe run kind of close to this guy. No, I'm asking. I'm not assuming, I'm asking. You're running, and this guy just cannot run. Is that going to be a turnoff? I'm just curious to that because, you know what I mean? And by the way, I could probably run a lot better today than I did, maybe a couple years ago. But the way my knee has been lately, not that much.
And I know from a guy's perspective, you can't be feeling good when you're in the back of the trail and the ladies are all in front of you. I mean, how do you get confidence out of that?
And by the way, if you are somebody, because Jake in the 253 said, I just got done running in the cold and wet. Hey, Jake, if you're one of those folks out there, Chef, that you can get out there and run, that's your element, baby. Go join that run club. Stay away from the dating site. Oh, let's have a conversation. Some people aren't that great. Guess what? I can have conversation. I can talk. I can't run like Jake in the 253.
I don't know. It's like a movie date. You don't talk.
True. Jason in Buckley says, do co-ed sports like softball or bowling. Hey.
That's a better idea. Yeah.
By the way, is it me? I know my buddy Rick does it, but I have this stigma on bowling leagues. When I think of bowling alleys, I think of, I know you can't
stand bowling.
I know you can't smoke inside, but I just think of a smoke-infested place. I know. Maybe I've seen too many movies. Now it's time for Words to Live By. Give it to us, Chef.
On the topic of manners, manners are a sensitive awareness of the feelings of others. And if you have that awareness, you have good manners, no matter what fork you use. That's Emily Post.
Good one. Brother Nick, what you got?
Well, maybe there's a trend these days for manners losing ground as the kids are missing sir or ma'am in vocab lost and found. And that's the only shallow end for this etiquette pool, with the sneaky grocery shopper showing no love for those rules. But it's not from the lack of calling store clerks sir or ma'am, rather sampling your own on your own terms or replacing chips with ham. Please don't let me catch you riding a shopping cart like a scooter either. This isn't a skate park we're talking about. It's a grocery store, all right?
Good one, Nick. Hey, Julie B says, I love bowling. And they still smell like smoke in there, even though they no longer can smoke inside.
It's the smoking stigma that gives you that weird feeling.
Inside, man. I'm sudden. I know there's been no smoking in the state of Washington for almost 20 years, and I don't know. I still have this stigma. Hey, thanks, Chef. Appreciate you, man. Nick, thank you.
You too, man.
All right. Hey, coming up next, the Jake and Spike Show. Appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Guys, if you want the greatest night of your life, I mean your best night ever, then you gotta hear this. There's a new ED pill out, and it's from the makers of Viagra. It's their first new ED pill in over 20 years. This new super pill is called Viagra AGV, and it's unbelievable. It works super fast in only 11 minutes and lasts up to 14 hours thanks to its new vasodynamic delivery system. Plus, it's FDA approved and safe. There has never been any ED pill like it. It's unreal what it does to you. In testing, Viagra AGV crushed every other ED pill. It destroyed them all. And now, 9 out of 10 urologists are recommending Viagra AGV over any other ED pill. Every man alive needs to try this new Viagra AGV super pill at least once. Then you'll know why men are going crazy over it. So if you want to have the most incredible night of your life, you can't miss this. Go to scoreblue.com and try it while supplies last. That's scoreblue.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma's